Good to see you, everyone. My name is Robbie Howell, and we're back. It's been a little while, but we're back during the campaign. We are live now on Kickstarter. Go check us out if you haven't yet. It's another actual play, and we are going to be playing with three fantastic players, two of which are new to the channel, but not new to the game. If you fellas wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, beginning with Rich.
Hello, my name is Richard DiTullio. I've been playing role-playing games for over 40 years now.
Hell yeah.
And while I'm a relative newcomer to Enclave, I have jumped in with both feet and am truly enjoying it.
Could not have said it better myself. Detour.
Hello, I am Detour, also known as David Torres. And yeah, I've been a regular on the server for quite a while, pretty much since it started, and still loving it. I'm really excited for the next edition.
Hell yeah. He was even on the original actual play that inspired our campaign trailer, Talons in the Dark. So he's been around. And lastly, Lucky.
Hey, my name's Lockie from the Mimic's Den. I am. This is my second mission playing Enclave. I host, produce, and voice act through an Australian-based D&D podcast, which is set in a group of D&D party group players. I don't know what I'm saying. It's late in Australia, but we'll get through it. Trying to host a D&D tavern set basically on the edge of the Appalachian Woods. It's really fun, really wild. But I'm super excited
Fantastic
to be here.
It's great to have you, man. We love having you here, and
Thanks,
it's been so great seeing how much you've enjoyed the game so far. And in that same order, could you give us your characters, beginning with Whimsy?
Okay. Whimsy is an illusionist. She stands about 5'4", curly ringlet hair. She's got a gray dress, shimmers like rainbows. There's a cloak over her back that seems to be made of red cardinal feathers. A silver tiara holds back her hair, and she has a belt of wide agate stones cinching in her wasp waist. She is delighted to be here.
Perfect. Next, Sarek.
Yep. So I will be playing Sarek Surge, who is a brainiac. He comes from a near future setting where he was a brilliant, ambitious scientist that was obsessed with self-augmentation. A rival colleague messed with one of his experiments and ended up actually making it work, but Sarek was unable to reproduce the results and ended up losing a lot of money, which is why he turned to crime and later the Enclave to continue funding his efforts.
A natural progression, crime to Enclave. And lastly, Condry.
I am playing Condry Greenthorn. Stands some 6.5 foot tall, strong build, from a deep monastic tradition. He is a Thunderbird inspired by Raiden. He has been sent out to move through the veils after meeting with one of these ancient entities that bestowed him with demigod-like visions and has been picked up by the Enclave.
Perfect. This is one of the first times in quite a while I have hosted for all new characters, not including playing with new people to the game. So all of these characters are completely unfamiliar to me. And yet, I have a mission ready for them that I think they're going to have a fun time with. I got the following focus words. I got Magic Mirror, Grove, and It Seems to Hate Us Real Ones, We Slickborns, which is bizarre, and I took some creative liberties with. And here is what you will be doing. This is a follow-up mission, a continuing the plot line of one that I hosted on the YouTube channel Anipod, as it happens. Here is what you guys are going to be doing. You are being sent to a mysterious reflecting pool in the middle of a forest, the sort of thing that can only be found, really, if you're not particularly trying to look for it. Some time ago, a young man went missing here, and not terribly long thereafter, his friends returned with ranting conspiracies, tried to poison the water there, perhaps succeeded because they thought that something horrible had taken him, and they only barely escaped with their lives as well, helped by another Enclave squad. This time, however, you guys are going into the reflecting pool. Specifically, you're going to be joining a pair of eccentric but kind of weirdly effective paranormal investigators. Their names are Walters and Paranor. And Walters and Paranor are very wealthy, very retired, don't have a lot to do, and as such have taken up this hobby of paranormal investigation, and they've actually done it right for the first time in their careers. They have found a honest-to-goodness paranormal, and they're investigating it. So, these two bizarre gents have entered this reflecting pool to search for this lost youth, Elton, who was not able to be rescued when his friends were being saved by this Enclave squad. They have entered into this reflecting pool after studying it extensively and managing to find it, and they have determined that it is being occupied by an old folklore creature, kind of, populace of children's rhymes and stuff, called a reflection thief, and perhaps several of them. In the world of the reflecting pool, which is pretty much just an image of the pool, it's a mirror image of the pool itself, weirdly distorted and with the surrounding groves, but not able to go further than that. Things are just slightly off. The reflection thieves are not perfect at mimicking, and have to kind of manually mimic every element of the world once you have entered it. They are also quickly trying to learn and adapt to Walters and Paranor, who are at the same time trying to find Elton. There's only so many places he can be in this strange place. They do believe that he actually does exist in here, though he may have been squirreled away in some way. Again, the reflection thieves can only do or see what they have seen and try to copy and imitate. And as such, they have a very limited sample of humans to try to deal with. As such, additionally, while they will try to learn, they will get more and more frantic over time, especially with these invaders, and especially when you guys come in, occupying their realm. So expect them to become more dangerous, very much more dangerous as the mission goes on. And remember, they can learn from you, and they will try to imitate what they see from you. Most importantly of all, they may never make eye contact with you. Make absolutely sure of this. Unfortunately, Walters and Paranor have thought of this. One of the things that allowed them to enter this, they have these big, clunky, funky-looking suits on, like very high Victorian, future steampunk sort of deal. Completely useless. No, it's completely unnecessary. They were just guessing. The thing they got right, though, was they were wearing goggles made of one-way mirrors. And you guys will each be getting a set as well at Enclave HQ before you port in. You're porting directly into the reflecting pool altered world, by the way. And so whatever you do, do not let these goggles come off, or rather, do not let the reflecting thieves make eye contact with you. Never let your naked eyes be exposed to their realm, for they will ensnare you, and it will be extremely hard to fight them off. What's worse, the reflection thieves, having now had a chance to examine Walters and Paranor, know that the goggles are the problem and will target them directly when they're trying to deal with you. Let's see, other things of note. Yes, you're trying to find Elton and escape. Of note, the way that Walters and Paranor entered this realm is they literally plunged into the reflecting pool. So they're guessing that's the way out, though they don't know for sure. And the other thing they have found is that there is one thing that the reflection thieves seem to despise above all others, which is loud, sudden noises. Can't stand them. However, again, they'll get accustomed to it if you do it too much. And, of course, they don't want them learning what a gun is. They've seen the reflection thief try to, make a gun, and it didn't really work. So what they've been doing is they have pistols, and they're shooting blanks just to scare it, and so that it doesn't learn that, a bullet comes out of there. And so because of that, loud noises are your friend, but the more you use them, the more it will try to learn from them, and the less it will be scared. So yes, a lot of information, rather complicated one. Questions that you have?
So actual mission success is
find Elton, get him out.
Helping Walters and Paranor, get Elton out. Okay.
Perception.
Do Walters and Paranor have to survive?
No. In fact, they are both fully willing and ready to die for this. This is a young man, a fine young man. And the fact that they are actually doing some honest-to-goodness paranormal investigating just thrills them. They're happy to go out here if they need to. Other questions?
Always good to have help, though.
Indeed.
Any others? Are we good? Is that a comprehensive mission statement? Oh, okay.
Indeed.
In that case, I say we move on to assembly. Your characters brought together in Enclave HQ to briefly convene and meet each other before being sent on this strange task. You guys will also be given your one-way mirror goggles during this. Make sure you'll put those on. If you come up with other questions, you will be able to ask them, but only in character, and you'll have to ask them to the attendant that's in the assembly room. So, brought together from your various homes across Manifold, these 3 agents enter a strange, quiet meeting room in Enclave HQ. It's beautifully decorated, lavishly provided for, only ever in shades of gray, as per usual. There are provisions on the table from everywhere that you guys are from. Pretty much all the things that you might like before a mission are ready there for you. There's an attendant quietly waiting over in the corner, and there are 3 telepads lining the far wall ready to spring to life. Let's go for a brief reminder of appearance and first actions upon entering the assembly room. We'll go the same order we began, beginning then with Whimsy. Fire away.
Very good. Reminder, Whimsy's about 5 foot tall, chestnut hair, wasp waist image, impeccably dressed in odd clothes, cardinal feather, cape, belt of agate stones. She strides into the room, a little surprised to being the first one, because she's never been the best with time. Walks over to the table of provisions and grabs a bowl of edible flowers. And is nibbling on a petal as whoever is next comes in.
Sarek, brief reminder on physical appearance and first actions upon entering assembly, especially now that Whimsy is there.
Right. Yeah. Sarek would walk in. He is about 6 feet tall, light-skinned, slim build. He's not a strong man at all. But what would be most immediately and obvious about him is that he's bald, but not because he has no hair. He has no scalp. The entire top of his skull is a transparent dome through which you can see his brain, and what you can see actually looks like some sort of seething tumorous mass kind of pulsing on one side of it as it has tendrils kind of reaching out into his brain. And he would walk straight up to Whimsy. Hello, Sarek Surge of Surge Innovations.
Whimsy clasped the hand firmly. I am Whimsicality P. Delphinium, but you may call me Whimsy.
Excellent. That's quite a mouthful.
And
they have coffee here.
And yes, they do, as Sarek would grab a pot. Kandri, first, or description and first actions upon entering the assembly room and seeing your companions.
Absolutely.
Oh, cut off for me. I don't know if you can hear me. We'll give him... There he is. We got him back.
Back. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Kandri is about 6.5 feet tall. Very strong, sort of like disciplined monk, muscular build. He's dressed in sort of like white, soft, monastic gi with like a robe of sort of like a dark blue sash that's doubling as a scarf over his shoulders and down to his wrists, where he's got bracelets of like fulgurite there, just in these small little beads.
Cool.
Long hair, some tattoos that run down his arms of these like runic sort of. Head over towards the table with the refreshments. I'm sorry.
No
Is
problem.
my internet cutting out bad?
We got you back. This one was faster. Oh, but then we lost you again. Oh, Australia, please. We want you back.
Hang on.
You need a moment, Lucky?
Yeah, we good?
Yep, I got you back again. You've just been flickering a bit.
I'm so sorry, dude.
No problem
I'll
at all.
see if there's something in the background that's currently running. All right. We back? There we go.
Yep, I hear you perfectly.
Excellent. I don't know where we cut off.
No problem. I last heard long hair, tattoos, full build.
Awesome. Cool. He's got a long sort of like burnt mahogany staff that rests against his shoulder as he walks in. and will head towards the refreshment table where the others are.
My name is Kandri Greenthorn. You are a interesting group of folk. I have not seen your kind before.
And he will reach for what he thinks is a refreshment, but it'll be like a plastic display plant after seeing Whimsy sort of eating a petal and just sort of start gnawing on it.
Your refreshments are different to where I am from. Bitter, but coarse in the mouth. Is this some kind of a jerky that you have made?
Oh, I never know where any of the stuff that shows up on this table comes from, but it is all different, and that is what I love about this place. I've not seen the same thing twice. I love that you're another one of those power suit wearers, but this? Delightful.
Ah, yes.
What is going on with your head?
Oh, well, this is Surge's implantable multimodal bioelectronic integrated on-brain technology. Just a little something I developed. It increases my intelligence.
I could use that, I feel.
You certainly seem to be the brawn.
Yes, and bright.
As like sparks run on my fingers.
But perhaps not thoughtful.
Most useful. Would you like some coffee?
I would love some.
Pour him a cup.
I don't know if he's had it before, but it would be also bitter, also coarse in the mouth.
The food refreshments are not refreshing at all. Perhaps we should talk about this mission we are going on to. I am scared of the idea of someone becoming me or you, Whimsy.
Quite so.
Agreed.
We should surely wear these goggles and never take them off.
Yep. And the goggles are laid out like right on side of the refreshment table, each one sized to each of your heads, each one neatly labeled. They are goofy looking, to say the least. Again, think of like the late 1800s conception of the future in terms of what they look like. And when you put them on, each of you looking at each other, you would look like big dragonflies with these kind of clunky things that prevent you from being able to see anyone's actual irises.
Seem to be functional. And quite stylish, I'd say.
Yeah, they fit with Sarek's aesthetic, that's for damn sure.
You can
look
make it
very,
work.
very good.
Yeah, and I'm sure Whimsy can make it work, in fact. As you guys are saying this, the attendant in the room would turn on a heel and silently walk from it, and the 3 telepads along the far wall would spring to life. Final notes and actions from any of you before taking your places atop the telepads.
This is my favorite part. See you on the other side. As he steps onto the telepad, as always, kind of inspecting to try and understand how it works.
I'll down the coffee and then head to the telepad as well.
Mm-hmm. And Whimsy, final actions from you.
Yeah, Whimsy finishes off one final glazed gilly flower and then regally walks to her telepad.
Excellent. And as the 3 of you take your places atop the telepads, you would feel, for some familiar, for one not, a tingling sensation rising up, beginning at your feet and creeping up through your legs, leaving them asleep in its wake. When the tingling passes your stomach, your guts churn violently, and then you no longer feel them. When it passes your chest, your heart flutters, and then you no longer feel it beat. And when the tingling passes your eyes, your vision explodes into ribbons of color. There is a buzzing of your ears. The world falls away, and there is nothing. And as quickly as the sensation comes, it leaves. But for a moment, it seems as though you are still teleporting. The world around you is wrong. There's no better way of describing it. You are in a beautiful forest glade next to a pool that is being fed by a waterfall. It's a very small waterfall. If you were able to stand on the surface of the water, it would be no taller than even Whimsy, but it's rather full-bodied and kind of dumps a regular stream in. However, the sky is inverted in color palette, as though you'd put it in like a direct image distorter. It's dark rather than light, and it's orange rather than blue, and the clouds are black. Additionally, the water does not splash. It moves in smoothly, almost like syrup, and leaves no ripples on its surface. There's bird song, but it sounds like it's being played backwards. And even though the trees around you look beautiful at first, upon closer inspection, it's almost like like PS1 graphics on really close inspection. It's low poly, with just kind of a coat of paint over the front to kind of simulate the look of bark. Though even as you might look closer, or Whimsy might with her great eyes, look closer at some of this weird tree bark, it would, as though it realized it were being noticed, congeal together into a more believable bark texture. Everything feels off. And what's more weird is that when you naturally go to take a breath, the air feels chunky in your lungs, like it's not used to being actually breathed. And yet you can still breathe. It's just wildly uncomfortable. Actions upon arrival. Of course, can't forget these two. The other thing you would note is through the trees on like another shore of this strange pool, you can see and very clearly hear the two investigators. You can see Walters and Paranor are in these big, goofy-looking, colorful spacesuit things that look like they were very handmade, and yet coherent enough, and are kind of clobbing around, talking to each other in kind of like muffled voices, and taking extensive notes. Their notes trail on the ground behind them, and they carry big backpacks full of weird gadgets poking out. They have not yet seen you. They stick out like a sore thumb, and yet there is an eerie stillness, as though everything else around you is listening to them as well. Immediate actions upon arrival. We will begin this time with Condry.
There's a big thunderstorm going on overhead, so if I drop out, I'm so sorry. Hey, it's thematic. I'm playing a Thunderbird.
Quite.
Country will, taking on all of this, I think the thing that he is going to try and feel first off is that connection to the weather, and if there is any sort of inversion or sickness to that, if he can pick up on that at the moment. And just take a moment to sort of take that in.
What would be his paired action for doing so? Like, what would this look like for him to do that?
I'm thinking what it's going to look like first off is he will plant his staff and breathe in and then listen to the reverberating bird sound, the darkened clouds and that inversion. And then I think he's going to do this sort of low, chesty sort of almost like a meditative hum in his chest to sort of match with what would normally be the gentle breeze or something where he's used to it. And it'll just be this like almost like Treebeard from Lord of the Rings, that throom sort of moment as he just speaks out and it spills for a second.
Beautiful. Something he would note immediately. Well, two things he'd note. First of all, when he plants his staff, even though he plants it when it looks like earth, soft, loamy earth, it feels more like if you were to jam it into Play-Doh, just wrong consistency completely. Second thing you would note, as soon as you make noise, the plant life around you, it wouldn't jump, right? But it would kind of recoil slightly, like it was surprised you said something. Or maybe even surprised to see you. And lastly, when you try to feel for the weather, your soul is not pulled up. It's pulled down towards the reflecting pool, the mirror portal back to the real world. Before we go further, however, Whimsy, first actions from you.
He goes to take a deep breath and then just gets that look on her face as the air is coming in wrong. That was horrible, and I can't wait to do it again.
I concur.
But with that first lungful of air not feeling quite right, she makes a gesture with her arm and her folding fan slides into her hand. And
Excellent. She's
just wafting it back and forth, seeing what air does. Oh.
Yes, quite. And here's the thing, your folding fan, just moving it through the air, it immediately feels like it wreaks havoc on the reflection thief's attempt at simulating air. You see that it's almost not like TV static. Imagine something a little more elegant than TV static, but of a similar flavor, right? Just like a distortion ripples through the air as it seems like it tries to catch up. And but the other thing you notice is your fan obviously has magic, like anti-magic properties to some degree, as all illusionists do. That screws with this thing so bad. The air, it's almost like it leaves little cavitation bubbles that the air has to try to like rush to refill, but isn't able to for a couple seconds. Oh, thank you so much for breakfast, darling. I won't be able to get to that for a few hours. However, the other thing that you would notice is as you kind of waft your fan, even though the kind of surrounding everything kind of recoils away a little bit from you, it suddenly recoils kind of in a little bit towards the fan. Immediately, the fan's ability to catch eyes has captivated the surroundings. Before we go further then, Sarek, first actions.
Sarek would, seeing the two men in front of us, walk directly up to them.
Yep, he breaks the trees.
Walters and Paranor, I assume. Sarek Surge of Surge Innovations.
The two
currently
men
under the employ of the Enclave.
Yeah, the two of them kind of like waddle around in their oversized suits. You can see that one of them has a long enough beard it's kind of poking out awkwardly underneath his big spacesuit style helmet. The other one's mustache is long enough it pokes out on either side. And you hear distorted through the helmet, "Oh, hello there, it's wonderful to make your acquaintance, old man. I've had pleasure to make your acquaintance." They both kind of come over and kind of trip over each other to both shake your hand. They both kind of compromise by both clasping the same hand and shaking it simultaneously. They pat you heartily on the shoulder and say, don't you think that the strange air that distorts this land might play havoc on your lungs, my good man?
It is a bit disturbing, but I trust that Enclave Medical will patch up my lungs once we're done here.
Good gracious, that's marvelous news. Well, in that case, nothing can go wrong with a bit of a smoke. They hand you a pipe.
Don't mind if I do.
Certainly wouldn't mind. Do you
have a lighter?
And as they do so, one of them says, "If you are here from some strange organization, have you heard of Enclave?" "No, I haven't quite heard of Enclave before myself. Have you?" "No, I haven't. But if you might make use of some of this." And he passes you his gigantic trailing furl of notes. Their handwriting is impeccable, and the notes are very comprehensive, but they're not necessarily organized the best.
Man, I need to get Sarek some reading glasses. But he would probably peruse them. Do you have any immediate leads on where Elton might be down here?
Yes, we do. We have several, don't we? Yes, quite a few, Walters. Would you like to go to? I think I shall, Paranor. First of our commensurate ideas was that perhaps he is being hidden somewhere about in the sky. The reason for this assessment is because it is the furthest possible place from the way we got in. He points to the reflecting pool itself. He says, and since up is down, in this mirrored world, it makes sense it would keep a prize somewhere far away, wouldn't you say? What's the next one, Paranor? Well, the next one, Walters, is that perhaps he is concealed in a tree, you see. Trees tend to be good places to hide things. I have hidden many a thing in a tree, have not you? I certainly have. As they're kind of going back and forth on this, however, Sarek would also notice something else, which is that the trees are leaning in and are clearly trying to listen.
Perhaps keep it down a bit.
Keep what?
The walls
Excuse me,
have
can't
ears.
quite hear you. The mask makes it difficult, you see.
And grab the helmet. The walls have ears. What have you?
You see a wall about. By the way, since you're holding his head and he tries to turn his head, the helmet stays in place and the rest of him rotates. It ends up with it kind of facing the wrong direction. He says, "Do you see a wall about here, old man?"
No, all around us.
He leans in towards Paranor and says, "Paranor, old boy, I think our help's been compromised. He's seeing walls where there are none." And Paranor said, it's a shame indeed. Well, at least we'll have a smoke to remember us by. He gives you kind of a conciliatory pat on the shoulder.
Am I able to draw from the pipe?
Yes, you are. It actually works as a pipe should. Now that said, the air is still a bit chunky, but all of the
chunky smoke,
the tobacco works fine. Before we go further with this, however, Condry, you have taken your moment. You have absorbed the kind of a broad stroke of the world and the weather. What would you do from here?
I think Conji would look at these two odd beings, very obscure to what he's used to, seeing that Serik's pretty socially inept. No, adept there, not inept. My apologies. My bad. The other one. He's going to look at the... My bad.
I mean, you're
He's
not
going
wrong.
to look at the trees. He's going to look at these trees as they come down, and I think he's going to, he's not an idiot, but he's probably going to try and intimidate them to either ease up, and he's going to take his staff out of the ground.
You are meant to be made of bark and earth, and you are a perversion to what you should be standing up to. Back down, or I will have words with your roots and your stems, and I will sunder you to ash and burning twigs.
And
I think he's going to try and do a little bit of storm brewing, if I may, to push this away.
that's really cool, actually. Okay, so what's going to be the paired action for your storm brewing?
As I begin to do this raising of the staff, my voice is going to sort of build a little bit. As you said, the chunky air is going to move around a little bit more and have a bit of tension. And then I feel he's going to have his Talarius sort of unfurl for a moment and rise up a little bit, speaking and sort of boom his voice out that way.
As he is doing so, what sort of weather is he trying to conjure forth?
Centralized on him, I think what he's trying to do is push the air out and make it as if there's like a gale, a bit of a wind, and just not a tornado, but more of like a gust towards these trees to let the centralized point of conversation be here. If
That's
we can
cool.
get any
Okay,
more
so yeah,
from
it's
these
a very
folk.
localized storm brewing that's just trying to wisp out wind like that, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now, two things. First of all, similar to Whimsy, your attempt to mess with the wind and interfere with the wind plays hell with the Reflection Thieves' ability to try to simulate this world. And you would see that as you kind of ripple out this pulse, imagine the air moving in chunks as it's like trying to catch up and be pushed away. It's almost like it's toppling into itself. But on top of that, as the trees kind of pull away, you would hear your own voice repeated back to you. Some of the exact words that you said. You should be sundered.
Oh, that's so creepy. Thanks.
However,
I love that.
as Condry is doing this, Whimsy, follow-ups from you. Condry has, if nothing else, caused the trees that are nearest to the two of you to kind of pull away, especially from you.
The moment he gives that whole speech about backing off, Whimsy closes her fan, stopping the effect, drawing them in, so that we're not working at cross purposes here.
Right.
Slides that back up her sleeve. At the moment, she's just watching the nature of their movement.
Yep, absolutely.
Because, trees traditionally don't move. So I'm kind of seeing how are the thieves, what is their process here? Are they just literally moving back? Is it like they pulled them? Are they disappearing in one place and popping up in another? What's their response?
There seems to be, the best way I can describe this, is they have very finite attention. It seems like they can only control a few things at a time directly, and all the rest get kind of bunched and bundled when taken off guard. So, for example, when Condry unleashed this pulse, it was though the air was like, oh god, I gotta work now. And the trees could kind of pull away in unison, but a single one, if isolated, it didn't seem like they had to kind of move together, or maybe one would have to be moved at a time. So it's as though imagine this is a real-time strategy game, and they're only selecting certain groups of units at once to move.
Gotcha.
Other things, and again, Whimsy has, I believe, Trip's sensory. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, hence why I can give you this detailed of an assessment of the ways in which they move. Follow-ups from Whimsy.
Content that these things have sort of backed off for now, she's going to wander over to our pair of investigators in Sarek.
Yep.
Just to see what they discovered over there.
Certainly. As you approach the one that has the kind of helmet now rotated 90 degrees the wrong way with his beard kind of poking out the bottom,
Right.
would kind of turn around and say, good day to you, my dear lady. He comes hurrying over and gives a little bow and a bob, and the other one says, oh, is there a lady about? Oh, goodness gracious, I haven't waxed my moustache today.
Whimsy gives them a little curtsy. Pleasure to meet you, gentlemen. Oh, please, allow me to adjust your couture. And, like, gets the helmet back the right way round.
Yeah. The beard rotates back into place as you do so. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your assistance, my dear. It's very kind of you. Are you well? Are you safe? Are you catching the vapors in this awful place?
Oh, I am quite well, but I am under no illusions that any of us are safe.
Well
Vapors?
said,
They would have to know what vapors were for me to catch them.
Aha!
I think that's our advantage.
Very well said. He points back to Paranor and says, write that down, Paranor. And he does so immediately. Follow-ups from Whimsy, if any, before we jump back over to Sarek and then Kandri.
Now, go ahead and jump.
Sure. Sarek, follow-ups with you.
Right. So they're now speaking with Whimsy. I just want to kind of look around my surroundings. Can I see how big the reflecting pool is? Like, can I see the edges of it?
Easily. It's not big at all. I would even say that for a person of average strength like Sarek, he could toss a stone across it pretty easily at any given 2 points.
Doesn't seem much to search here. He's just gonna kind of start to wander off a bit and maybe inspect one of the trees.
Yep, absolutely. As he gets closer, the tree, seeming to realize that it's being examined, starts to get a lot crisper in its definition and become a lot more compelling of a copy. That said, he would also see that a bird kind of like hallucinates into place on its branches and does kind of like a little pecky routine. The bird just doesn't behave like a bird, though. It's trying to look like a bird, but doesn't really work that well. It's pecking at bark with no particular purpose, and when it flies, it kind of like hops into the air, starts to move, and then starts doing the wing thing, and the wings just look wrong too.
Terrible simulacrum. Wonder how it works. I'm going to touch the tree, at least try to, and use my universal adapter that is implanted in my finger that will allow me to interface with objects with a single touch.
Absolutely. And as you hit it with the adapter, a couple things of note. First of all, the texture of the tree is completely freaking wrong. It feels more like faux leather than it does like a tree. Second thing is the adapter, as it kind of hooks up, it does find a hook into it, so to speak. It is able to interface with this thing magically. The best way I can describe this is imagine this illusion being caught in the shower. You know, like completely unaware. You know, right? Like it covers itself. You can feel that immediately the tree like recoils violently away from your finger, but not before you actually do get kind of a picture of how it does it. Trees are obviously on the bank of the reflecting pool in the real world, and so as such, it's seen them a lot, but it's never had a tree in the water besides the roots. So it kind of fucks up everything besides the very surface-most level of it. The reason you can see this, though, is imagine like the universal adapter converting data of its process to you and putting it into like a language you can understand. Rather, it's not like this thing has instructions laid out in it. This is all your adapter's doing. That said, it breaks the connection of your adapter in like less than a second. And the tree bends away in a very untree-ish looking manner.
Interesting. You there! Take me to Elton! And this is a do the thing.
Activate and do the thing. That's awesome. And as you do so, you can see that the tree begins to like eerily distort. It looks like what's a good way of putting this? It looks like early AI video. Best way I can describe it. You know, just like shifting forcibly from one thing to another and kind of blurringly midway between the two. You see it's trying to go from a tree to a humanish form. I will say you guys were given a picture of Elton, and some features look similar. They like hair color, rough age. These things are correct, but kind of half tree and very much uncanny. And as it kind of shifts towards him, you can feel kind of not a groan, but like almost like a soft heave in the entirety of the ground around you. Now, before we go further with this, Condry, actions you would like to take.
If I can ask a question on that,
Please.
that heave that we felt, was it like universal? Like
Yes.
it was struggling to maintain this illusion?
The best way I can describe it is imagine someone groaning in their sleep. You know, like a sick person groaning in their sleep. It felt like that. That would be a good way for
like fever
Condry
dream
to
sort of feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. In seeing this, Country will. His mind's in two places. After feeling that like groan through here, I think he's going to look around and see if he can see where that voice, or get an approximation of where his mimicry voice came from.
He has a good idea. It can't pick out like an exact tree or anything, but it would be like he can pick out the slice of the area around him.
Okay, he'll turn back to the folk following him. Go over to Whimsy firstly, and
Whimsy, this grove, this place we are in at the moment, I heard my voice coming from over in that direction. Don't follow me.
And then he'll leave and head over towards there.
Yep, absolutely.
Quickly pacing through, he's going to fumble with some of the beads around his wrist and sort of take one into his hand and in anticipation for one, to try and ground his a little bit of a nervous state that's going on right now.
Yep.
But he's disciplined. He wants to make sure that he can do this and see if he can see any of the changes there. And what he's looking for in particular is any wildlife, anything that he can sort of grab and not intimidate, but inspect, for the lack of a better term.
We'll jump back to Whimsy in a moment, but before I want to follow up with this. As you break through the trees, in the direction you heard your voice, you said?
Yes, sir.
Immediately as you break the tree line, it starts getting strange. First of all, there are more trees, but they're really bad. They're terrible. They're barely tree-shaped. Almost no color palette. Second of all, the ground feels loose here. And the ground itself even starts to not fall away, right, but become scattered and imprecise. Even the sky through the tree branches overhead is not nearly as well done. And it was already not great in the main area. But you do spot one animal as you're kind of passing through. You see that there's a songbird that is kind of unconvincingly hopping along a branch.
Interesting. He will turn to the bird.
Sing me a song.
And the bird looks back at him uncannily, and in his own voice would say back, "Sing." Sing.
What is your name?
What? And then it does a bit of birdsong, actually. And the birdsong is like, it sounds like birdsong. It's not a thing a human voice could do. But again, it sounds kind of like if it's played backwards or maybe heard through water or something like that.
Sure.
To give you an idea, by the way, the area where the trees and the ground and everything gets imprecise is like barely even 10 paces away in through the trees. Like it gets crappy very fast.
Right. Looking out from here, like Kandri can see back to the sort of arrival location still, right? Like there's nothing obscuring vision from there. Come back to me. I'm trying to think of a tactic here.
Whimsy, jumping over to you.
Okay. All right. Well, watching Kandri run off saying don't follow him. And I'm like, anybody who's paying attention to Whimsy is seeing the calculation in her head of like, all right, so she compromises in her head. She throws out her billowing cape.
Yep.
And proceeds to float down, I suppose, just trying to get more perspective on the mirror realm, hoping to keep an eye on Kandri as they're going off, but get a bit of reconnaissance as to where they're going.
And as Whimsy floats down, couple things that she would note. First of all, as soon as she kind of hits like the tree line, she can see the edges of the area very clearly. It's immediately clear that this is an oasis, you know? Only the reflecting pool and tops a dozen paces in any direction is all you have. Everything else beyond that is just shifting, swirling morass that has no definition or precision. Even the sky above is only a little bit of a... It's bigger, right? Because obviously you can see more sky from the ground, right? But it still becomes imprecise and distorted and eventually falls away to shifting nothingness. So again, you have a very precise area. But the second thing you notice is from this bird's eye view, obviously water reflection is a lot easier to pierce from a bird's eye view. And you can see through the beautiful, brilliant summer's day that is in the real world, as though you were looking through the reflecting pool like a window, precisely showing what is happening outside.
Interesting. Whimsy does just take in that view for a little bit, for she's an appreciator of beauty. Can she still see Kandri out in the woods doing whatever he's doing?
She doesn't see him precisely, but she does see the place where the trees are shifting slightly. And after another moment, she actually does catch another glimpse of him because he's entered into the imprecise fringe where the tree's foliage isn't well replicated and she can see through it. It's as though he's standing on the edge of the world, almost.
Whimsy's going to try and stay down here for a little while longer. Just try and keep an eye on him.
Yep, absolutely. And as Whimsy elegantly floats in midair, keeping eyes, let's jump back to Sarek and then back to Kandri. Sarek, actions you'd like to take after your little interaction with the adapter.
I try to do the thing. It was morphing. So I would probably respond, yes, that's the one. Let's go.
And you can hear that as you do so, a voice comes back to you, but it's not yours. It's a different voice of a young man with an accent rather similar to that of Walter's in Paranor. It says, Come help me, please. I'm in terrible trouble right now.
Yes, that's why we're here. Where are you? There isn't much place to hide here, is there?
Help me, please. I'm in terrible trouble.
Yes, we will. Just tell me where you are.
Help! Help, I can't see anything.
Can't see anything.
I feel as though I'm drowning, and yet I can speak. Drowning.
Interesting. We're in the water, looking up. You did mention there were black clouds.
Yeah, the direct paladin version.
Could he be hiding in one of those?
You can
Might
see that
feel like drowning in the sky.
The simulacrum of Elton is stuck on drowning. He just repeats it like a record crack, you know?
All right, well, just hang on. We'll be there as soon as we figure out how.
Yep, absolutely. As you are doing so, the reflection thief, if that is precisely what this is, or whether it's a bigger thing that controls many, it's not entirely clear how many of these there are. But whatever that you've hit with do the thing continues to obediently try to replicate Elton as best it can, and continue to repeat his words, stuck again on drowning.
Looking up at the sky, do I see any clouds?
Yes, there are. There are again these black but not stormy clouds. These palette shifted clouds. They're moving. In fact, they move rather believably. One of the more believable things that you can see from here, probably because clouds are very easy to see from looking above, and you're not getting close enough to notice the discrepancies. That said, they do shift quite swiftly and are replicated by fresh ones. It's not like it's repeating on a pattern that you can notice. And so if he is hiding in a cloud, then where would he go? Would he be moved from one to another, you know?
Right. I think that's probably what Sarek is thinking, that it's like shifting around in the clouds, maybe, kind of shell game with the clouds. But it does sound like he needs a closer look. So he's going to take out one of his thrusters.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Hold on to it. Well, let's get a closer look then, and activate it.
As Sarah goes rocking up, shooting past Whimsy, who maybe
Lifting
just
waves as he goes by.
kind of like drifting, almost like a disturbed buoy on the ocean. You know what I mean? As he comes like launching past. He goes pelting up towards the clouds, and as he does so, he sees that the clouds seem to like steer away from him, like definitely not wanting to deal with him at the moment. What does he want to do?
Yeah, try and like bend towards clouds.
What are you stupid thing?
Dear.
And you would plunge into a cloud only to have it be solid, like pillow texture. You're like, and you would like bury yourself in the cloud, kind of embedded deep in it, like Wile E. Coyote in the ground after falling off a cliff.
Nice.
But you don't like plop out immediately. You're kind of stuck in it, though you can move around. It's again very soft.
Yeah.
You know,
Try
the way a
it.
child would think a cloud would be, right?
Right. Yeah, try and wade through it. It's like, oh, would it be like, is it solid enough to hold a person?
You feel yourself kind of like
Slowly
like
sinking.
slipping.
It would be tough to keep him in such then. But are they all like this? And trying to like wade through and see if I can like make my way to another one.
Getting to the other side, are you trying to find one that you can like hop to? Because you don't have much purchase to hop, nor particularly the stats for it.
Yeah. Can I even just reach out and touch one?
Yeah, you can, and again you would grab it like a piece of pillow.
Yeah.
With a bit of fluff. Though you also find yourself like sinking off the edge of the cloud as you do so, given you don't have a lot of purchase on it at the moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a way down at some point, so I'm gonna have to think about that.
While you're thinking, let's jump back to Condry. Mary and Chad.
Condry, 100%.
Pardon.
Just do it, man. That makes sense. Like that, the logical next step is check it. Seeing Sarek just fire into the sky, I think Condry is just going to look at the bird, try and like grab it.
And he does easily. And the reason it seems is that the thruster was quite loud. And as soon as it happened, it was like everything around him froze. Like, and so in that moment, just plucks it like an ice cream cone, like, got him. The bird struggles
does it feel like
and
bird?
tries to peck at him a little bit. It does not really feel particularly like a bird. Fluffy, feathery is not... It's too solid. Like, it's a little too thick to be a bird. But it's shaped roughly like one.
If I throw it up, if Condry throws it up, does it immediately take flight, or is it sort of like in place for a few seconds?
Does he want to try like a and see what happens?
Yeah. Toss it into the air.
As he does so, it actually like goes up and then just falls to the ground like the dead parrot skip, like plunk. And then after he does so, it seems as though the reflection thief like realized, oh, I'm free, and like starts to like get back to its feet and tries to fly, but he can see that the wing movement's just wrong. It's just incorrect. and yet still the bird goes.
Okay. He's going to follow the bird up.
Yep.
Clicking his heels there, the bindings around his ankles unleash a little bit. With Tularia, he's just going to sort of like have a little bit of this electric charge and then throw his staff up and then sort of skitter in the air.
That's so cool.
Thank you. And then as he matches up there, he's going to just observe from a very martial engagement, sort of like a sparring match that's about to occur. A little bit Sherlock Holmes Moriarty sort of vibe, where he's just trying to gauge the next step of what the edge of this rendered distance looks like. And if that bird is either heading back that way to be like, okay, well, I don't need to be observed anymore, I'm going to turn off, or if it's going to be continuing to sort of mimic up.
Mm-hmm. Excellent question. The bird immediately moves not towards the indeterminate edge. It moves back towards the pond. It moves back towards the reflecting pool.
So I have a +2 in Arcana, and forgive me for asking this kind of question.
No, of course, please.
In my mind, for the nature of conjuration for Kandri here, it's a lot to do with willpower and driving the lightning, the thunder, and the power forward, and manifesting it from a core in a center.
Yep. Is
this a centralized sort of drawing, or is it just like that's what a bird would do? Does that make sense? Like, is the image, the reflection thief, trying to like be bird, or is it like I need to pull it back here to then do something else? Does that make sense?
That's a good question. I don't know if Kandri would be able to determine that based on what he has seen. Mm-hmm. The best thing that he can see is it. If you weren't paying attention, it would be a believable bird.
Okay. All right.
But it does seem to be making a beeline right for the center. Like it seems as though it has trouble on the peripheries. Because even though the periphery would have been a more direct route of escape from you after being chucked and fallen to the ground, it like deliberately went back towards the center.
Cool. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Country will head up as far as he can.
Yep. This would take him into like the second layer of branches.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then continue sort of observing there. Would he see Whimsy at this point?
Yes, he would. He sees Whimsy kind of gently rotating. He would also see the tail end of Sarek pelting into a cloud and leaving a Sarek-shaped imprint in his wig. But on top of that, he would also see the bird land on a branch, and again, with that completely uncanny, that's not how it should work sort of way, morph into a part of the branch, like an extra twig on it.
That's so freaky, dude. Well done. He'll look at that, go, ugh, and then look up at Whimsy.
Did you... It doesn't look like you followed me, so thank you for respecting that request. Do you see anything from your purchase of up there?
Whimsy, who can hear Kandri perfectly, both because no wind and also triple sensory, she's completely fine. What would first of all, what would she like to have been doing during this period leading up to him saying so, and then we'll take it from there, because obviously she's seen Sarek pelt past, but also has some time to herself.
Yeah. Well, I'll admit part of her is like, okay, now I'm suddenly interested in the clouds. So just taking a good hard look at one, seeing its version of unreality as compared to the trees. And after that, basically, can she see anything that isn't the reflecting pool area that seems more solid than the miasma around it?
That's an excellent question. And the best thing I can say is the point where it becomes indeterminate. You know what I mean? Imagine the edge of a piece of paper that's kind of creasing up. You know what I mean? It's as though there's not quite a hard edge to where things become indeterminate, but it's more like a hard edge is slowly becoming more defined and is kind of curling inwards just a little bit. It's a bit tricky to explain. Does that kind of do you have kind of a picture?
I think I get it. Yeah, I think I get it. Interesting. All right. Well, unfortunately, this cape of hers doesn't keep her in the air indefinitely, so she is going to find her way back down before she goes the hard way.
As she is descending, this would be when Kandri calls out to her. What does she want to respond to him, and then we'll take her further on the ground.
I think I see a spot out there worth investigating. I'll tell you when we're back on the ground.
And as she slowly, gracefully descends back to the ground, she would find Walters and Paranor like bent over like drinking birds, like almost at a right angle, both of them like closely examining the ground.
Find something, chaps?
Oh, not quite, madam. When a lady is above oneself, it is best practice not to look.
Ah, well, I do appreciate a gentleman's discretion.
Yes,
but
of course.
we really do have a job to do.
Yes, of course, that is absolutely the case, madam, and now that you are back upon the land of the grounded such as ourselves, then we may happily look about our task once more. Thank you very much.
And they both pop back up like penguins and go kind of waddling about, still trying to take their notes. You see that one of them has taken out a peculiar thing. It looks... Imagine like the world's crappiest theremin. And he's like holding it out kind of like a dowsing rod and pointing it at things. And it is buzzing slightly.
As it does at just about anything he points it at, my guess.
Yes.
Whimsy's just taking a quick look through the voluminous notes that are wafting in the lack of breeze behind them. Just looking for, like, have they gone, like, more than 3 feet from this pool? Have they seen it? Okay.
They haven't even gone more than 3 feet from where they entered, it would seem.
Okay. That is enough for Whimsy to decide it is no longer worth reading any more of these notes. Okay.
They have taken some interesting ones. They're just kind of not useful. For example, they noted that the water is not wet. Their paper was not damaged by it. Cool, but relevant?
It's going to make an excellent monograph when they get back. But right now.
Yeah. What would you like to do?
She's torn between waiting to see how Sarek gets back down from the sky and just moving off to join Kandri where he's at.
Quite.
Let's just cut to Surge for a moment. Let's see if I have to catch. Sarek,
what would you like to do?
Okay. Still up in the sky on a cloud. I was reaching out, grabbing a piece. Maybe a chunk came off or something. What is the air like up here?
The air up here, again, kind of feels chunky, but more than that, there's not a better way of putting this. You do not feel a need to breathe up here. Your lungs aren't getting anything, nor do they need anything. It's as though there's no attempt even to simulate the air, nor the need for it.
Interesting. So no sense of drowning then, which is what Elton said.
Yep.
So yeah, just trying to do some quick bits of investigation while I'm up there.
Absolutely.
The cloud itself, as I was like passing through it, was it pitch black, or could I like?
That's a great question. It was
see,
mostly
like, fiber or something?
translucent, so you could see it like the dark light kind of shining through in every direction.
All right. I think Sarek would probably intuit like, from that bit of investigation and thought about it that this doesn't seem to match up with Elton's description of pitch black and drowning.
Yep. Trip's intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Trip's intelligence 100% agrees with this assessment.
Excellent. Well, nothing up here then. Looking down, what could I possibly land on? 3 luck.
Reflecting pool. You could land on Walters and Paranor. with some amount of aiming, you could land on Whimsy, or you could land in trees.
Trees were kind of soft, but yeah, probably aiming for the pool then, since Elton said drowning. Maybe there. So,
Yep.
just gonna swan dive into the reflecting pool. How far is it actually first?
Oh, it's a ways. It's like well over 100 feet up. The clouds
Okay,
are at a
then
believable height.
I am going to blow up one of my body doubles and use that as a cushion.
It plummets down. As you do so, the other two, your two companions would be, I mean, Whimsy would be watching, but Condry would be alerted to this by Walters and Parador putting up an immediate ruckus. Goodness gracious, the good fellow's plunging to his doom. Terrible news, terrible. No, we could catch you if only we'd thought to bring the umbrella. As they're like yelling and yapping and chattering about this, he plunges down. Gravity doesn't seem to have a problem being simulated. And actions from Whimsy and then Condry, because Whimsy was waiting for this.
Yeah, she was not sure what she's going to do. Wanted to be ready if a thought occurred to her. At this point, the thought that I'm trying to considering that she's figured out just how disruptive her fan is to the air, as it were. She's trying to figure out, can she disrupt the air in such a way as to make his passage down easier?
That's a really interesting question. Instat?
Say that again?
What's your intelligence stat?
Oh, not at all. No.
Drat. I can't give you much then.
Yeah,
it's a cool idea, though.
So, yeah, I'm just watching the show then at this point, getting ready for a water rescue when he lands.
Right. And Condry, alerted by the sound of the two investigators chattering, what would you do at this?
Okay, Condry will look down at them, then up at Surge falling.
I so hope he doesn't die. Maybe this will work.
You hear your own voice
going
repeated back to you from nearby. Die.
Oh, dude, holy! Oh boy. He will try and ignore that for a second, and with gritted teeth, he's going to grab onto one of these trees, and leap forward. Turning back in the air, he's then just going to clap his hands as hard as he can to try and force himself into the path of Surge, Sarek, as they're plummeting down and catching him,
and as you
and aiming us both for the pool.
The boom of the thunderclap. It is as though the world has like a brief cardiac arrest. Like everything around you like flickers wildly. It distorts wildly. The colors invert. The trees don't have leaves, and then the leaves don't have trees. Everything for just a moment freaks out. And indeed, even gravity pauses. However, for the moment that Sarek is paused, Condry then whips up and kind of football tackles him. And the two of them would kind of like almost tail spin down and land on Sarek's. Sarek's luck stat is pretty good, if I recall correctly, right? 3? Yeah. The two of you would land on Sarek's decoy.
Body
of course,
double.
like a blow up, right? And you would kind of go skidding over the soft turf that is on kind of the far side of where Walters and Paranor and Whimsy are standing. This would be the side where the little waterfall spills down. And you would kind of land with your heads kind of just up against the roots of a nearby tree. The world has kind of corrected itself after the momentary freakout, but there is not a single bit of motion anywhere. Not a bit. None of the trees are moving, none of the trees are shifting, no bird movement, the clouds aren't moving, nothing. Everything is paused. And you can feel the kind of tension and fear thicken the air. Now, that said, Sarek, after being tackled and landing alongside Condry, actions you'd like to take, given that the two of you are still like kind of clumped up.
Yeah. Response to Condry. Ah, that was quite a surge of luck there, you grabbing me. I was a bit worried, but let's get up.
Helps him up.
And
I'll help him up.
all right. Well, I looked up in the clouds. I don't believe Elton's up there. Let's try going down. Pointing at the reflecting pool.
Yep. The area that, like the bank you are on, is less clear than the one that Walters and Paranor are on, and it's also a bit elevated on like a small, beautiful little mossy cliff. Again, no higher than like 6 feet up, and so literally you could quite neatly step off the edge of this and pencil dive quite perfectly into a deeper part of the pool. But Condry, any responses to Sarek from this?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you had your translucent helmet on to let you have quick thinking when deploying the body double and not dying as a red paste on the surface of that water. It was so lucky that that happened.
I did
So
the
the cloud-
calculations while I was falling. I would have been fine. Pretty sure.
Say that last bit again. It sounded like you did the calculation, but then doubted the calculation. You know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure that you wouldn't have died. They weren't in the clouds. You said Elton wasn't there.
Indeed.
And then
Unfortunate,
maybe
but
in... I heard Whimsy said that they had seen something over towards the edge of the world. I think on the other side. Perhaps we go collect them and then we have a look at what horrid things that keep whispering to me. Has the clouds whispered to you? Did you hear anything repeating in your voice?
Your
No.
voice comes from a nearby tree.
Did you hear that?
Sarek,
Please tell me you heard that.
seems to have taken a liking to you.
I don't like that. Can you use your translucent dome to make it not like me anymore?
He thinks for a moment. What could he do?
Well,
I mean,
something-
probably make noise.
Something curious to consider is what it means that it seems that Condry is being copied. Maybe even exclusively copied among the three of you thus far. But before we go further than that, Whimsy, I'm sure you have things that you'd like to do. But on top of that, you can hear pretty much every word of their conversation. Again, no wind, especially now, and triple sensory. Actions that she would like to take, pretty much from Condry's boom and onwards, when the world pauses and freaks out.
She's walking around the edge of the pool, heading towards the waterfall.
Mhm.
She wants to hook up with her companions, but it occurred to her that in all of the best stories, a place behind the waterfall is such a common thing. And she wants to see if perhaps there's something here.
Yep, absolutely. As she is kind of picking her way up the somewhat cliffy and uneven sort of terrain on this side of the waterfall, however, something that she would notice for the first time through the trees is a larger figure moving. And even though it's quite stealthy and quite nimble amongst the woods, she picks it out to be a deer, and a rather large one, maybe like a 6-pointer.
Interesting. First larger animal life they've seen here. She definitely makes a note of where it is, but is going to stick with her waterfall plan for the moment.
Yep. And as she picks her way a little closer, getting a little over half of the way from where she started, around the edge to where she's going, she finds that the deer is kind of shadowing her. Not like at her back, but kind of at her side, and closing in ever so slightly through the trees.
Interesting. All right, that's got her attention. So, um, how close am I to my companions at this point?
Just
Can
over
they
half
see
the
me?
way. Even a soft call could get their attention most likely, but given that you're in the more, again, thickly forested side of the reflecting pool, it is you don't have a direct eye line to them at the moment.
I know generally where they're at.
Easily, yeah.
Boys, I think I found something here we should look at.
Kandri and Sarek, responses to this, or is Sarek going to proceed with his current plan?
Okay, so Sarek would be wondering, so 3 int here. If we split up, does that cause the reflection thief to have to split its attention more and therefore be less powerful?
Seems likely, at the very least, given what you've noticed about it.
Cool. Then yeah, turning to Kandri, I think it best that we split up, force the creature to split its attention, and without another word, activate his power suit and step off into the water.
The armor kind of materializes around him as he just kind of does a gentleman step and kind of plunges down and in. You would hear Walters and Perrin as they're from the other side of the pond from where you guys are. Kandri, actions and follow-ups from you. Obviously, Whimsy's calling you from one direction. Sarek said this and is stepping out into the pool. What do you want to do?
Cedric will be fine. I'm going to head over to Whimsy.
Yep.
And he's going to. It's stupid, but he'll do it. He's going to mutter to himself and see if it responds again. Let's play a little game. See if it responds.
Let's.
I'm scared of loud noises.
It says the whole thing.
I'm scared of loud noises.
I'm most scared of mimicking.
Scared.
If I repeat the wrong word,
Wrong.
then I have to give an answer and see if it responds.
I may.
Up ahead, however, you
Did
can,
I say that?
Yeah, I may have to give an answer. You said I may.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Cool.
Of course.
All right.
Up
I
ahead,
freaked
you
out
can-
for a
you
second
can-
for no reason.
No, totally. You can catch a glimpse of Whimsy's colorfulness. For her, what would she be doing after calling? Would she be continuing to approach, or is she going to be holding position and keeping eyes on the deer?
She is still going to walk towards the waterfall, but now it's less trying to get to the waterfall and more kind of side walking to see if it continues to mirror her.
Oh, it does. Although it also closes a little further to the point where she can actually fully see it. Again, quite a handsome 6-point buck. Not particularly old looking. And as it kind of walks, it looks quite believable, quite thorough, quite beautiful from far. But as it gets closer, you again start to see the inconsistencies and the weirdnesses and the way that its eyes don't quite fit into its face and the way that its antlers look like they kind of bend a little bit when they definitely shouldn't.
She once again slides her fan into her hand, but does not unroll it yet.
Yep. And this would be the point where she would meet up with Kandri. Kandri, as you would kind of come up next to Whimsy, you can see her eyes are off to the forest, and you can immediately see the buck as it kind of slowly kind of pads its way through the woods, quite close enough that you can see it quite vividly.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
The buck says,
Indeed.
Show me.
First big animal life we've seen out here. And
Yes, and it can speak. How good.
Good.
with your voice.
It didn't repeat anything for you?
Perhaps I'm not its type.
You see that while the buck has been repeating what Condra is saying, it's looking at Whimsy, very much focused on her. You can see its antlers kind of swaying almost like tree branches.
Well, I must say you've done a better job on this deer than you did on the little poor songbirds. Surprises me, though. If you had more time to see one of these, do you like it more?
You can see that the deer does kind of shift position. Spirit stat?
1.
Yeah, you would get the faintest little whiff of annoyance.
Good.
And as you would do so, you would see that the deer, again, kind of adjusting itself, would take what can only be described as like an aggressive step. Not like a charge, but just like a try to spook you sort of thing. It's all of like 6 paces away from Whimsy and 8 away from Condry. And even though it does no more than just like a false start, immediate reactions from Whimsy and then Condry.
Immediate reaction takes a similar step forward and a wave of her fan towards the deer.
Yeah, the air distorts. Condry, immediate reactions from you?
I think Country's going to try and follow up on that distortion of air at that point, and he's going to take a low sort of like horse stance from his monastic training and twist his staff over his shoulder, letting it roll down, and then it's going to have this like little charge of electricity that then will like mingle with the wind off the back of there, and he's going to prepare to sort of like release another bout of wind towards this creature.
Yeah. As the kind of thunder, like, and the electricity crackles up his staff, and he tenses up. You see that the deer pauses, and then with that awful kind of blurring look, its antler shifts to a hand holding a gun. Now, admittedly, the hand looks very wrong. Too many fingers, and it's kind of furry. The gun looks wrong as well. Again, think AI image generation. They have trouble with guns. But it's very much like a just immediately without anything else, and just kind of holds the gun held on Whimsy, though it does occasionally kind of shift it a little bit. Reactions to this specifically from Whimsy, and then Condry again.
Whimsy giggles. Well, aren't you trying to be clever? How cute.
And Condry, actions from you. Does Condry know what a gun is?
I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I think maybe the closest he's seen to like a gun would be. Okay, maybe he's seen them, but he's like, that's a weird looking arcane focus or something to that. Like, what are you doing with that? Like,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. He'll turn to Whimsy.
What the hell is that? Is it intimidating you?
It's supposed to.
Do you should we
I'll lean in very quietly.
Mm-hmm.
do you want to shoot it with lightning magic?
See what happens.
That's a yes.
And he will unleash a bit of lightning, but it's going to be from one of these lightning bolts from his bracelet that is just fired through and projected further towards this creature by the bit of storm brewing there. If
Absolutely. And as the lightning crackles off and launches at the thief, you can see that rather than squeezing a trigger, it like shakes it violently, and the gun goes off. Admittedly, it's very quiet. It's way quieter than it should be. However, it erupts with like a strange sprinkle of colors. Think like 60s era animation, but recognizably a gun flash. And the bullet that emerges is weird because not only is it bigger than it should be, and it's way slower than it should be, like slow enough that Whimsy can actually see it coming. But it is aimed, and it does go clean for her, and it comes fast enough, like an arrow rather like a gun, that dodging it is probably out of the question. That said, before we go further with this, and before the bullet impacts, let's jump back to Sarek. Let's see what he's doing. So Sarek, as you step off and drop into the reflecting pool, there is a sudden violent lurch in your stomach. You feel wild vertigo kind of rip through your head. You're again, it feels kind of like teleporting with your guts churning, but they don't stop it. They just keep going. You kind of do a weird inversion in midair. There's no wetness, you notice. And then you pop out and you find yourself on the shores of a small grassy beach, pretty much identical to the one on like the one that Walters and Paranor were on, like on the opposite side of the reflecting pool from where you hopped in. The sky overhead is blue. The air is normal. The birds are singing, but not too close. And you can see the reflecting pool behind you, but there's not a speck of water on you.
Now, could he be here? Blackness, drowning, and probably looking all along the edges of the pool, like anything at all.
There's something you do immediately notice, though, which is that a lot of the plant life right around the pool is dead, like very dead. And Sarek, coming from a futuristic area, knows what a chemical spill looks like. This is 100% a deliberate chemical spill. And you may remember from the mission statement that Elton's friends did try to poison the lake.
Perhaps help clean up this mess. Our jailor will be willing to let go our client.
Does look like it was from a while ago, though. Like it looks like, even though you can see the remnants of it, just decimated everything within like a foot of the edge of the water. It looks like it was done quite a while ago. A scar on the pool.
Does any of it get into the water, though? Like, does the water lap up to it at all?
The water does lap up to it, for sure. It doesn't seem like the water itself has been damaged, but just everything around it. The water itself, by the way, is perfectly clear on this side. And you don't see... You see fish in it, but they definitely look simulated. Like, given that around you everything is real, the simulated fish and frogs in the water are very jarring. Of note, it doesn't reflect the weird sky on the inside. It's almost like when you're inside, the reflecting pool is a window to the outside. When you're on the outside, it's still trying to be a simulation.
Mm-hmm. Seeing anywhere where he might be hiding out here that the creature would have domain over. But he would investigate for a little bit just to see if there's anywhere. I'm almost imagining like a cave or something is a possibility. But
yep. Well, the waterfall is mirrored on this side as well.
Interesting. Probably investigate that then.
Yep. Padding over to it, it would be kind of, the point at which you hopped off is very short, very nearby. And you can see that the waterfall is unusual in that there is like a little stream that leads in and feeds, but it's real water. And it seems the moment it goes over the edge of the waterfall, it takes on the strange properties of the reflecting pool. Doesn't splash, doesn't spatter, is not wet. But it's like at the very cusp of the waterfall that happens.
That's interesting. Just out of pure curiosity. Okay, you said it's a small waterfall.
Yep.
How small are we talking? Small enough that I could redirect with my hands?
It is not very tall. It's only like a 5-footer, but it's quite broad. It's not something you could redirect with your hands.
Yeah, I'm mainly curious. Even just walk, like, all right, is it flowing like super hard? Would it like knock me down if I was in it?
It wouldn't knock you down. But you'd feel it.
All right, I think yeah, I'm wearing power suit anyway, so just seeing what happens if I disrupt the waterfall.
Sure.
He's
Are
just
you
in
are you disrupting
experiment
it at the
mode.
point of actual water or the point of weird water?
At the point of actual water.
Sure.
To,
And
like see how it affects going into the pool.
are you like, I don't know, plopping yourself down and trying to use yourself as a dam, or are you doing something more sophisticated?
Yeah, like using myself with power suit as a dam to like see, just hold it back and see what happens.
The water bubbles up into your lap and kind of spills over your like sides of your hips and kind of works on behind you. And you soon make a little pool right in front of you in your lap. That said, unless you're like trying to look over your shoulder, which is not easy to do in a power suit, it's kind of hard to see exactly what it did.
Just crane my neck up.
Not quite. You don't really have the bendability.
Then he would sit and think for a moment of how he might maybe at least temporarily dam this up.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's one very clear way to do it with Behold, but I think you'll need a moment to think that through.
Yeah.
Before we go further, then jumping back, Whimsy and Kandri, as the gun goes off, obviously, even though Kandri doesn't know precisely what it would do, it's still a noise and a movement. So both he and Whimsy can try to take a quick reaction to it if they can. Whimsy, reflex stat.
Fine.
Nice. All right. What do you want to try to do?
Interpose her fan as a shield, hoping it disrupts the bullet as it does the air.
Yep. And given that she already had her fan out, and is a pretty quick motion, she does manage to get her fan up barely in time, and the bullet breaks against it like water on concrete. That said, as it comes up, she would kind of like, there would almost be like a spray overhead of sparks from it, so to speak. Or like shrapnel, I guess you could say, for want of a better term. And she actually would feel this kind of like sear at her as it kind of whips past her. And even like sizzle away little strands of hair, leave little lines across her forehead. And more importantly, her hand, especially the knuckles where she was kind of holding the fan, those take a beating as well. It's as though like this is going to be an awful analogy, I apologize, but like a red hot cheese grater was suddenly struck across her knuckles.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it would be a yow. I don't know if she would actually, does she have a will stat?
1.
Okay, good. In that case, I could see you not dropping the fan. But other than that, that's absolutely a fan drop. Immediate reactions from Kandri. He's obviously blasted out his lightning simultaneous to this, and so he doesn't quite have the wherewithal to do anything like jump in the way or anything like that. Does he have immediate follow-ups he would like to take? He sees the lightning has struck the deer. Before he even knows what damage it's dealt, does he want to do anything?
Yeah, I think the next action there is, as it sort of rippled through, he's going to have his like winged wrappings there, like launch him forward, and then literally just follow up with the staff coming like down on the elk head, trying his damnedest to even break like at the point of where like sort of like Handler has now
Handler
emerged from.
awesome.
You can have that one for free. And shatter that away. Very cautious to actually make sure that he's not saying anything now because he doesn't want to get scared.
Right. As he lunges forward, like just before the staff comes down, he can see the damage that the deer has taken from the bolt. Again, imagine it being stuck between forms, right? It's somewhere between deer, man, rabbit, tree, kind of all jammed together, but with a big, awful, gaping burn mark of not able to properly process where the lightning hit. And as your staff cracks down onto its head, remember how I described the water here as not splashing? You know? The creature splashes. It's as though when you strike it, the part that you hit becomes water and splashes away to nothing, and it collapses and morphs into the grassy, loamy ground around you.
That's freaky.
Now,
that's cool. I love it.
Whimsy, immediate follow-ups from you, especially after this awful searing pain to your hand.
Yeah, basically just generally shaking it out. Moving a little more behind Condry now.
Yep.
Kind of just now watching this over his shoulder, and now we've got like what, half a deer and more dirt than we had a minute ago.
Yeah,
Is
quite.
that basically?
Yeah, more like moss
Okay.
and stones and things. As you are doing so, however, you would hear behind you the yells of Walters and Perro.
Excuse me, are you quite all right?
We're fine. Stay where you are.
Well, I hesitate to say it at such a trying time, but the trees are seeming rather edgy at the moment.
Noted.
And as Walters and Perno would call it out, you guys can see that even though the ones immediately around you aren't doing it, the trees past them, as though they are on an invisible conveyor belt, are sliding closer, like kind of bunching up the forest, leaning in, their branches coming and kind of intermingling, and in some cases starting to try to resemble something that is closer to a hand than a branch. That said, the ones immediately around you are doing no such thing. Perhaps intimidated by your show of force, perhaps otherwise. Immediate follow-ups, Whimsy, then Condry. Do you need a moment? I can give you a moment for sure.
Yeah, Rimsey doesn't really have anything she wants to do at the moment, aside from see if what's left of this deer is going to do something.
The loamy ground and like detritus it has turned into for the moment seems completely still, though I'm sure Whimsy's eyes still are having trouble being pulled from it.
Oh yeah, she's heads on a swivel just to see what part of this place is being focused on now.
Now, as she puts her head on a swivel, though, she would spot something else. She would spot that something odd is happening with the waterfall. The waterfall seems to have paused, or at least slowed.
And from where I'm at, can I see beyond the waterfall? Or
no, you're at a perpendicular
weird angle. Figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Condry, follow-ups from you, especially as Whimsy kind of tucks herself behind you.
He will turn around to Whimsy. Are you okay? Did that thing hurt you?
As Condry is saying this, however, Whimsy would see one of the trees take a swing at the back of his head.
The traditional behind you. Yeah.
Condry, immediate reactions.
I think he will. Is he smart enough? I think maybe. Look, I think he will flick the staff over his shoulder and angle it as such that thinking any sort of like impact would be able to just glide off of it in like a defensive sort of
skill stat.
Baseline.
In this case, the tree branch as it comes in, the staff actually is angled in such a way it does not just like wham him in the back of the head and knock him flat, but it does send him sprawling into Whimsy, and the two of them go tumbling backwards, kind of like one over the other. Given that I'm going to go on a massive limb and say Whimsy is not prepared to catch a 6.5 foot tall behemoth.
Even if prepared, probably not able.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, cool.
Follow-ups first from Condry and then from Whimsy. Obviously, Condry, since you have one arm out of the way and you're going over like on top of Whimsy, I think first priority is obviously trying not to crush her. But if so, how? And if not, and then immediate follow-ups afterwards.
Tumbling, I think he'll try and like tuck and roll into sort of like having Whimsy sort of not like swaddled like a child, no, but like protected
Yeah,
and safe,
bundled up,
making
right.
sure that bundled up. Thank you. And then pivoting sort of like knee to the ground, looking back at what was just been attacked
Yep.
by.
As soon as he looks up, he sees another tree branch like barreling down to like pile driver the two of you. What's worse, the tree branch is disproportionately large compared to the tree. It's like it's as though it's evolved a great club to mash you guys into the ground.
I have a stupid plan. Do you, do
Those are the best ones.
Far out. Okay.
Hold tight. I don't know if this would work, but it will either die trying or we'll maybe die on impact.
And then he's just going to take his staff and like slam it against the ground.
Be reduced to chaff.
And then belts the earth and use a thunderclap to try and either force us back through the waterfall or like up and out, if I'm understanding our location correctly.
I see what you mean. You're trying to like push yourself away, right?
Yeah.
And as you do so, Whimsy, immediate reactions you would like to take. Obviously, you were disoriented by being knocked to the ground. However, follow-ups you'd like to take, especially as Condry is quickly saying this in your ear.
Basically, shifts her fan into her uninjured left hand.
Yep.
And it's just once again planning a defensive strike. I don't know how much of this is going to come over us as horrible stuff, but she's going to try and deflect it as best she can if it lands.
And as she is readying herself, Condry unleashes his second thunderclap. Whimsy is not ready for it at all. She and him are flung backwards at speed. Now, Condry, you're still kind of holding her, so it's not like she's just going to be completely blasted off path, right? But it launches you clear across the reflecting pool, which might sound like an enormous it's not actually that far, right? But it's still far enough to be substantial, and the two of you would land with a heavy thud in the not correct texture grass on the other side, which again feels more like Play-Doh. That said, the thunderclap would cause another shivering distortion within the reflected world, though shorter than last time, and more notably, Whimsy's hat and fan are blown from her person by the thunderclap when you guys are launched. Especially because it was in her left. Now, that said, you would immediately hear Walters and Paranor rushing over, calling out, and you would also hear the snap and crack of their pistols firing as they shoot blanks into the air to keep the forest at bay. They hurry over and they begin to try to begin with Whimsy.
Are you quite all right? Is there anything we can do to assist you, madam?
Don't fuss, gentlemen. I'm fine. She is not fine. But she's not telling them that.
In that case, they both politely and immediately turn their attention and start fussing over Condry.
Are you quite all right, sir? Is there anything we can do to assist you at this moment?
I think Tanatus in the left here, he'll be like, speak more to my right. Help me up if you can.
And I'll.
And as you do so, Condry's voice, much louder than it should, echoes from every tree.
If you can.
And you guys see that the bank that the two gentlemen were on wasn't long. You know, it was maybe 10 yards from trees to edge of water. The bank has halved in distance as the trees have pulled in threateningly towards the edge. You can see that they're pausing as Walters and Paranor have their pistols out and are readying to fire more blanks. The sound still seems to scare the place, but not that much anymore. And as Whimsy is getting herself to her feet and Condry is saying this to them, we're going to jump back outside to Sarek in the real world.
All right. I have like 3 things I'm going to try to do. So let's see how they go. So one, I would like to luck pitch that there is a tree large enough to be like suitable blockage, but small enough that I can push it over with my power suit.
Triple luck, you
And
say?
possibly, yeah, Trip's luck. I also have Gantry that could help push down as well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, with Gantry in play, that's an easy luck pitch. Sarek the Beaver at your service. He gets it in place. Now, obviously, it is not going to make a perfect seal, not even close. And so most of the water just slips underneath it, and that which doesn't kind of burbles over the top eventually.
Cool. That's fine, as long as it is like impeding the water flow in general. Next thing he's going to do, he's going to blow up another one of his body doubles. He's going to put its arms in sort of like a basket kind of thing like this. And then I'm going to scoop up the contaminated soil and fill its arms.
Yep. Now, something you quickly notice is that there's way too much contaminated soil. Almost every part of the bank has it, even though one part is worst. And so you haven't even made a dent before the decoy's arms are full. I don't know if that's what you were going for, though. You might be going for something else.
It's fine. He's got a plan.
Sure he does.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And finally, I guess addressing the reflecting pool, he's maybe imagining that the creature is like within the pool itself. He's going to say, "Now behold, my harmonic cataclysm waveform generator. I've recalibrated the seismic ionizers to target the precise audiophobic hertz frequencies of this identity-thieving antagonist. Obviously knowing of such, I have placed this device right near the bank of the water, right here." As I toss some like a patch of grass that was just pre-cut, flipping it over, and there's a case underneath where I open it up. And here it is.
Oh, that is absolutely freaking glorious. Now, I got most of it. Give me the precise pitches of what you're going for with this contraption.
Big noise maker.
Oh, yeah. And where are you going to plop it?
At the edge of the water.
Yep. As you do so, by the way, before you even turn it on, all of the simulated lake life in the reflecting pool color inverts violently and shudders and hard resets to a different point. You can actually hear the distant echoes of Condri's thunderclap emanate up from the reflecting pool.
And there'll be more where that came from. If you don't let go, Elton.
And as you say this, Sarek hears his own voice drift up from the water. Don't let go.
Let go of what? Won't let go of Elton, will you?
Won't let go.
We'll see about that. I turn on the harmonic cataclysm waveform generator.
Perfect. And you hear a and a pulse goes out, and the reflecting pool ripples. That's a big one. It has not rippled before now, and you can see its palette shift violently again. Briefly back on the inside, you guys would see, as the forest is drawing close, Whimsy's getting to her feet, Condry is speaking to Walters and Paranor, there is a sudden awful sound. They're just kind of like a sound gun, one of those military grade crowd disperser things, like one of those that kind of pulses out, and you hear Sarek's voice echoing from the reflecting pool, and there'll be more where that came from, as the entirety of the area recoils from the pool in clear consternation. Just for the moment, though. But it gives you guys a window of clarity. Actions you would like to take as the threat is pushed back for the moment, beginning with Whimsy.
All right, let's try something. Whimsy is taking in everything around them. The one-way mirror seems to prevent them from at least getting full access to us. I'm activating Phantasm, the idea to project an image of a ring of one-way mirrors around our group.
Ooh, Cool.
I'm reflecting reflections. Let's see what happens.
What's going to be the paired action for this?
I think literally just she's whipping this up into the ground. She's doing the like a rise gesture as though the mirrors are just sliding up out of the ground.
Now, a question to her. This thing seems to also control the ground. How will she deal with that?
Well, she's just making them appear like it's coming. But yeah, she's going to have to put a floor on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a ceiling if we're doing a floor. Let's make this the equivalent of like an igloo out of mirror. Kind of a thing. We're going for a dome.
Now, and as Whimsy is like, obviously, she just took a hard fall. Her hair is completely off. Her clothes have been stained with reflected, not low poly mud.
All of this is fueling her rage. Okay, they messed with the hair. All right.
Not the hair.
And as she is doing so, and the mirrors begin to conjure around, you hear Walters and Perna,
"Good heavens, what wondrous wonders is this? Such fascinating powers. Is this the creature at play? No, it must be yon damsel."
As they are blabbing, however, Condry, actions you would like to do.
I think Kadri is just going to watch Whimsy go about this and watching the recoil, everything like that. He is going to take a moment. He's going to kneel down and listen for the reverberation. And then he is going to reach out and in this moment, I think... Hang on. I made a brief note here, but then I moved a page and it's gone forever now. I love this so much. Whatever, we'll go with what the original thought was. This isn't it. He's going to reach out and with the arcane that he has at the moment, he's going to try and draw away, like when the same feeling when we first arrived here was the alteration of this, and he's just going to try and capture a little bit of it. And trying to just gain a little bit of the understanding of the mimicry in order to try and learn. He's not going to do anything at the moment, but he's just going to even try and get the most surface level of this, if he can. Now, does that make sense?
It does make sense. And as he's doing so, he actually gets a perfect environment to do it, because Whimsy's phantasmal one-way mirrors that have surrounded you guys in an igloo cause an immediate and violent reaction from the surroundings. Suddenly, animal life, plants, start to spring up, violently simulated, trying to find you. It's looking. It can tell that there's something here that it can't see. It's like pushing up against the igloo. There's like masses of vines pushing up. There's songbirds kind of bumping into it. There's deer striding by. There are strange replicas of Elton that all look kind of wrong, kind of looking around, touching with their hands. It is trying to find you in here, but it cannot see you. It cannot access you. And what's worse, there's another like sound pulse from Sarek's machine outside. Not that you guys know precisely that's what's going on. And that resets all of the area, which then causes it to have to come out again with new conjurations, try to find you, try to pick up where it left off, with every of these pulses resetting it. Now, what Condry would also pick up as he kind of draws off of it, and is trying to learn and figure out what it is, right? It can only copy what it knows. This much is clear. He can see like some of the songbirds, for example, are part gun, given that it seems to have decided that this is the primary weapon of choice, besides like big bashing oak limbs. So it can only replicate what it knows. And the only human's body it has replicated is Elton's. Because it's tried your voice, it's maybe tried other voices. It can do birds, but it seems that every figure here, every creature, maybe besides the trees, but even then possibly, are something that it seems to have ensnared. The birds, the deer, the frogs that hop about, the water voles, and Elton.
Is it tried to manifest Elton
at all in
It's,
these
it's
sort
tried
of like
several
eruptions
times.
to
It
find
has
us?
like there's a couple of crappy looking Eltons at any given point trying to find you. Some of which are blurred with trees or vines or frogs or birds or deer or what have you.
Yep. Seeing this, I think he'll quickly turn to Walter's apparently there. Do you have you heard any other voices come through here recently, aside from ours or yours? They haven't pulled yours at all.
Let me think about that. Well, better not. Check the notes. I am on it, Walters.
He says, and he starts to go and like kind of tear through it.
Yes, it would seem as though we heard a strange voice, rather guttural, speaking in a strange and somewhat roguish accent. And let's see, then there was the young man, Elton, most likely his voice. We heard that quite a lot early on. Our best guess was that when we were on the banks, he kind of gestures up and then gestures down, realizing that they came through the water. When we were on the other side, it seemed as though it was trying to tempt us, right, by imitating Elton's voice. Oh, help me, and all that. So it has that one, has this rather roguish one. We've heard ours, though it seems to have a bit of trouble with ours. When to say, yes, it does seem to have a bit of trouble with ours, old boy. Any guess as to why? Any guess indeed.
Any specific questions or follow-ups from Condry, as these two don't seem like in any hurry to stop talking?
Let me interject very quickly then. Have you tried to trick it to maybe reveal a bit more of itself, or make it be weaker or something like that? Easy for you to overcome.
That's
Make
an
it think
excellent
one
idea.
thing and do the other.
Yes, that's an excellent idea, isn't it, Walters? I agree, Paranor. Well, then I will say, my good bean, it seems as though that it has a little bit more wit about it than that. We have tried to do such things. Oh, I know where Elton is, that sort of nonsense. And it chooses what it imitates, It's not mindless. It's not an automata. It's something that seems to think and has some malefic consciousness that drives it, you understand?
Okay, good. I'm out of questions for the moment.
You never should be out of questions, my good man.
He pats you on the shoulder, and Paranor follows up.
The world is full of them. Perhaps when you're a little older you'll appreciate that.
Okay, all right. I am some 400 years old. How old are you?
Don't look a day over 200.
He gives you a little chin chuck with his fist.
I'll do it back to him. Good. I like that.
Yeah, you give him like a little like mask, like donk, because of his big space helmet thing. Now, Whimsy, while this conversation is being had, you've created your igloo. You can see the violent reaction from the area, trying to gut at you, trying to get through, but they can't deal with mirrors. What do you want to do from here?
Okay. Continuing the list of, okay, here's another idea I had, but maybe not a good idea. Two things. In all of the notes that our explorer chappies have put together, is there a picture of Elton, a sketch of it?
There is actually. They have like a photograph pinned towards the top, and you guys were also shown one in briefing.
Okay. I am going to, between that and looking at all the crappy versions of Elton that are around me, picking out the bits that are thing, I'm going to use veneer and make myself look like Elton.
Yep. And as soon as you do so, you would hear a moment after,
Good Lord! I've found him, Paranor!
Not yet.
Oh, goodness heavens.
But if they react the same way, maybe they reveal where the real one is.
And you can see that Walter says,
This damsel has such a keen intellect. Exceptional plan. Exceptional plan indeed. I couldn't have come up with a better plan if you had given me a dozen fortnights, I would not. Nor would I. Well said, Paranor. 3 cheers for the...
well, before they go into 3 cheers, what would she like to do?
Well, looks over at the non-British companion he's got. I can do this to more than one of us. Maximum confusion when the mirrors go down. What do you think? All right, with that nodding head, everyone becomes Elton.
Do it.
And as you do so, you can see that immediately Walters and Paranor go to touch their faces. Their masks are still there, so it's like donk, and their hands stop short of where they are. And Paranor would say,
Walters, you look very handsome, my friend. It's been a while since we looked like this.
and Walters would say,
You know, Paranor, I was about to say myself, but could do with a bit more of a moustache, I think.
and as all of you take on your disguise, there's another great thrum as Sarek's machine resets the area outside once again. Before we go further with this, however, Sarek, outside.
All right. Do I have any sense of what's happening in the pool?
There's two things that you can detect. One is that every time your machine pulses, the simulated pool, because you can't see the inside of what's going on, you can just see like it pretending to be a pool outside, that resets, and it's frantic every time. Like there's stuff going on, there's way too many frogs, they have way too many legs, the turtles are also fish. It's weird, like it's having trouble keeping up its guys.
This is only going to get worse for you if you just let Elton go. Any response?
You can see that there's like a cluster of stuff around you. You see a gun manifest under the surface of the water, but then your machine pulses again and it like goes back to normal.
Well, you ought to know that due to radioactive isotope decay, the poison that had previously contaminated this ground has turned exceptionally potent.
Oh.
And will likely be highly lethal.
Is that an activation of your only weakness?
Yes, it is.
I had a feeling. And you can see that once again the figure tries to congeal. Like 3 fish come together to make a gun and then slowly try to re-angle it towards you in the water.
I am fortunately still wearing my power suit, although
Indeed.
It's probably going to run out soon because it does run on a battery.
It does have a battery. You haven't been doing a lot of jumping around, though, at the very least, so you have a little life in it.
Nice.
And when the gun goes off, you can see that it, again, isn't quite convincing, but the bullet actually breaks the water surface and slams into your power armor, though you notice that a long thread of water connects it back to the pool. And so when it hits and bursts, it just kind of like slurps back into the pool.
Have it your way then. And decoys can be tasked with very simple tasks.
Yes, they can.
I'm going to point surge number 1 into the water.
Boink, and it hops like waddles in or hops in, and as it does so, the contaminated earth in its arms, you would expect it to kind of like splay out across the surface, dissolve in the water, but of course this isn't real water, and so it vanishes out of sight as the surge replica inverts into the reflected world.
I would, like a scientist, observe the reaction.
And after a moment, you see that there is a shudder in the water. An actual ripple goes out across it. And this time, another 2 guns try to manifest and try to point at you, though both of them are having a lot of trouble with the whole trigger part.
Yep, probably give my harmonic cataclysm waveform generator another punch as I get ready to load up another body double.
And as you do so, it dissipates everything. The pool is in pandemonium at the moment. And as you do so, it still shows no sign of giving up.
Fortunate.
Surge number 2?
Well, yeah. Yeah, surge number 2, loading him up. I'm actually going to use my gantry, which have Once per mission, I may pitch a tool to replace the grabbers. I'm going to replace them with scoopers.
No, excellent.
And yeah, I'm going to load up another double, and then I'm going to start scooping and just tossing into the water.
And back inside of the reflected world, the Whimsy can feel that her mirror phantasm is about to go down, but the world keeps resetting. It keeps pulsing out as Surge's machine on the outside goes through. Another thing you guys would see just before the phantasm goes down is one of Surge's body doubles, though you cannot immediately tell it as such, kind of pops out, reflecting up out of the ground and hopping up onto the bank right next to the waterfall. You can see that it turns around with a big armful of earth, it looks like. But this armful of earth, have you ever seen sulfur give off fumes like mineral sulfur? Imagine that, and those fumes distort the air itself, much like Whimsy's fan. And just kind of sizzle in the area. The other thing, now that your eyes have been pulled out across the reflecting pool, because obviously there's been a lot going on, you haven't really checked there in a while, the waterfall is very thin at the moment. Thin enough to reveal a crevice behind it. Actions you guys would like to take, fully in disguise. We will begin with Whimsy.
Okay. Knowing that her phantasm's about to go down, she basically, all right, this is it. I can't hold the mirrors up any longer. I'm going for that crevice. And points at what she sees behind the waterfall.
And Paranor says,
We shall hold them off.
Gather, gentlemen.
They both take deep bows. And Kandri, what will you say or do or prepare yourself with?
Kandri will look at both these gentlemen. If you go, then go well, and know that you will be remembered in the halls of my family and of the great warriors where I come from.
Exceptionally kind. We both did serve in the military, didn't we? Suppose it figures. Suppose it fits. My best to your family, old chap.
He will pat them both on the shoulders.
Yeah,
give
which
one more.
Obviously, it's a little higher
chin.
than it should because they're veneered, so it's like honk.
Okay, Whimsy, you lead the way. I will not speak, otherwise I fear they will understand that I am not Elton.
And Whimsy, what will you do?
Pretty much like she said, the moment Phantasm drops, she is going at a full run towards the crevice in the waterfall.
Absolutely. You guys are across the pool from it at the moment, hence why you got such a perfect, clear view. And as soon as the Phantasm drops and she goes at a run towards the edge of the reflecting pool, she obviously has her cape, but talk me through the kinesthetics of how she's going from running to floating, presumably, to get across it.
Okay. Yeah, she is going to, again, full run, throws the arms out, throws the cape out, perfect superhero pose as he just launches herself into the air, floating gently like the leaf on the wind that these guys cannot replicate across the pool to the crevice.
Oh, that's beautiful. And as the phantasms drop and all hell breaks loose, the world kind of shifts in towards. It's as though the entirety of this little oasis of reflected reality kind of looms in towards you. The trees creak, the simulated animals scamper, but then they pause, completely befuddled by the four Eltons that are before them. Kandri, as Whimsy goes like belting off towards the waterfall, you can also see, as can she, that first of all, as she drifts, the billowing cape is not known for its immense speed, right? She's going at a running start, so it's not going to be slow, but it is still like a bit more of a gentle flight. And also, the trees on the far bank, right over the waterfall, are craning down, trying to protect it, trying to get in the way. But on top of that, another Seric double has popped out, with another armful of crap that is just belting awful fumes into the area around, which seem to sizzle and singe at the trees and make it so that there is a little weakness in them. They're not making an impenetrable cage. On top of that, the scoopfuls of infected earth that Sarek has been throwing are now drifting up out of the surface of the reflecting pool like, how would I describe this? Like little meteors. Like, they're not going at speed, but the crap spills off of them, and they seem even immune to the gravity that is simulated here. So they just kind of drift and hover like planetary bodies floating up out of the reflecting pool, spitting off their horrid fumes. And amidst all of this, whimsy drifts between the great pieces of noxious earth. Kandri, actions you would like to take?
Kundry is going to see Whimsy heading towards their destination. See these pieces flying up. He's going to run forward. I hope she'll get there. It'll be all right. His winged boots will extend for a second. He'll jump up, pulling in, and I think he's going to try and feel that, like, there's still some like level of submergence here, right? That in his mind exists. He knows we're underwater, for the lack of a better term. Drawing together,
My father told me of stories of the greatest storms at sea. In the eye of a maelstrom, become the maelstrom. Be the point of care and calm.
and he's going to try and generate a maelstrom as a paired action with the storm brewing, and hope that in doing so it's going to pull up these pieces of earth and send them out at all these little pieces of the reflections to,
And in this case,
one, buy some time.
Yeah, one, buy some time, and pardon. Finish what you're saying.
Yeah, that's okay. And two, perhaps shunt Whimsy on a little bit faster.
Now, as you're running forth and taking to the air on your Talaria, the Maelstrom in mind, what is going to be your physical paired action for conjuring it up around you? How will you be taking to the air? Is this with twists? Is this with turns? Describe it to me.
Yeah. I think it's with the staff at the moment. Like, it's cumbersome given like definition being like a thunder hammer in essence, and I think it's the weight of, like, I don't know if you've ever seen like the like Indian training clubs that you
Yes,
usually
of course.
swing over your shoulder.
Gada, I believe
Yeah.
they're called.
Yeah, thank you. I could not remember for the life of me. But that's sort of what comes up at first, and then it begins to sort of crackle, and it loses mass as like the lightning spills around his form. And Elton, looking probably the most badass he's ever been before, is the lightning ripples across his eyes, sort of spark for a second, and this is like roiling sparks that start off from his ankles and that pull him up into the air, and the weight of the staff then carries him higher up like he's done before, and then that is becoming like a fixed point in there. His visage probably fades for a few seconds, and it's more of this like sparking like centrifuge of like energy for a few seconds.
Absolutely. And as he swirls his staff about him, Whimsy would feel the wind first. It is billowing off of Kandri, ushering her forwards, and also flinging the meteors of smoldering, contaminated earth into the forests, burning great holes in them wherever it passes. She is coming closer and closer to the waterfall, and still there is a screen of desperate branches that try to block her from it. As she comes closer to it, what would she like to do?
She's got only one more card to play. As she's approaching the screen of trees, she pops her circling stones and throws them around in a protective pattern around her, trying to fend them off long enough to get into the crevice.
Yeah, those are the agates that are about her waist.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing to have on an illusionist too. And as the stones kind of spring to life in this defensive screen, she feels the branches trying to tear at her, trying to block her. But she's protected herself with this screen of stones. And so even though they pull at her hair and scratch at her face, they don't stop her. And up ahead, she can see a hand reaching from the dark depths of the crevice, desperately grasping.
I reach for it and try to pull whoever it is free.
And as Whimsy reaches out and takes the hand, it feels as though he is in quicksand, stuck. Very tight, very deep, and barely any movement, even as she tries to pull, especially because floating, she doesn't have really a lot to push off of. What's more, the tree branches are starting to try to double in their efforts around her. She feels herself being pulled and scratched and plucked at, and her clothes being rent, and herself being trying to be ripped away from the crevice, ripped away from the hand. But before we go further, Sarek on the outside. After breaking quite a few Environmental Protection Agency regulations, what would Sarek like to do?
Nothing new to him.
Yeah, exactly. He has shoveled a whole lot of contaminated earth into this pool.
All right. By his judgment, is it having a positive effect? Well, which would be a negative effect from reality.
Positive for him, for sure. The pool is having a miserable time simulating things at the moment because of these great hulking clods of contaminated soil.
All right. Can I see beneath the false reflection or false
Yes, but only in these kind of pockets and windows. For where a clod of earth has passed, it almost burns through the fake image of a pool to what's happening on the other side. And you would actually have a direct window to seeing Whimsy reaching into the waterfall that has been almost completely unblocked on the other side as tree branches try to tear her away.
All right. I'm going to exit my power suit.
Yep.
And turn to it. Automaton! Rescue Elton! Which is a perk that I have on Do the Thing that allows me to target power suit, allowing brief autonomous action.
That's awesome. And the power suit springs to life and goes into the pool immediately. I mean, I say make a splashing noise. You hear nothing. It's just like a... Right? And it vanishes. Though you can see it flip out onto the other side. The others, even though Sarek can barely see it, the other side is chaos. And Kandri, with his eyes crackling and enough magic emanating from him that he's actually completely burned away Whimsy's veneer at this point, he has flung the contaminated substance everywhere. Trees are melting away. You can see that Walters and Paranor have been pushed to the very edge of the pool with their pistols and are pretty much only being protected at this point from the contaminated soil flying around, which, of course, their heavy masks protect them from. That said, Kandri would also be the only one to see the great power suit kind of reflecting out of the pool and leaping up onto the earth next to where Whimsy is reaching in behind the waterfall. Any other actions from Kandri, or is he trying to keep up the maelstrom to make sure that the contamination swirls?
Yeah, he's going to just be maintaining that for as long as he possibly can. And if permissible, while he's sort of channeling this in, if there's any sort of points that get too close to Whimsy, he's just going to be taking lightning bolts and flinging them into the maelstrom and just focusing them down. While he does so.
Oh, there are quite a few points that happens. The trees are trying to pull her away, peel her back. Mm-hmm. However, Kandri would feel something else. He feels like the sky is falling. The simulated sky is coming closer, as though the entire reflected area is contracting violently in on himself. And he starts to see the clouds coming closer, and he starts to feel the false chunky air becoming thicker as it all becomes kind of packed in. The whole place congeals and pulls itself together like a snail pulling into its shell. What does he want to do as he feels this great pressure from above?
He will call out to the companions there.
The time is ticking. The sky is falling. The world is giving in. We are We are probably on the right path, but we need to get out of here as quickly as we can. Get poor Elton free. Do you need help, Whimsy?
And Whimsy, you hear Condry's voice booming out. You've barely loosened Elton an inch or two as you hear him calling to you.
Yes, I can't quite get him. I'm like bracing my legs on the side of the crevice. I am pulling with all my might.
And
I am just screaming. Go ahead.
Oh, you first, please. I didn't hear you.
I was just going to say, I am screaming at the whole reflected world around me. I am Whimsicality P. Delphinium, and I will not be denied.
And as she is screaming this, a great metal hand reaches down onto Elton's wrist, and she suddenly feels him starting to move. The power suit has reached down and is starting to peel him out.
That'll do.
And the power suit is, of course, powered and has quite a lot of strength behind it. And as Elton emerges, again, imagine one of those absolutely awful, like, caving situations where someone in a cave gets stuck in, like, some horrible crevice. It's like that. He's kind of peeled out, helpless and weak, his hand clasping Whimsy, but most of the real heavy lifting being done by the power suit as it peels him out. And Whimsy feels herself overbalancing and falling with Elton on top of her back towards the reflecting pool.
Which is where we want to go in the first place. That gets us out.
She letting
She
herself
goes
go?
with it. Yeah.
And as she does so, Condry, you see Whimsy and Elton freed and starting to plummet towards the reflecting pool. They only are going to drop a couple feet to it. But you at this point, how do I describe this? Have you ever lifted a bed with your back to like fix something underneath it? Imagine like the weight of a very, very large mattress kind of bearing down on your shoulders.
Okay. From the trajectory that Whimsy, the power suit, and Elton are, how are they? Are they close enough to like the surface of the reflecting pool that they are just going to need to be pushed through it?
It looks like they might even fall through it of their own volition.
Okay. What Kanchu's going to do is see that happening at the moment, and do I know whether or not would Kanchu know whether or not that the power suit can respond, or like is it sentient enough for me to ask a question to? Didn't think so.
Well, that looks like metal.
And he's going to push the maelstrom upwards, clasp his staff, and going to use out of the blue to form into lightning, strike the suit to become bound to it, and just hopefully use that force to push us all out through the surface.
And as Condry does so, he enters the suit. It's too small for him, so it's quite uncomfortable, but it actually like works with his body. I mean, not beautifully. It's not used to him being there. Didn't really expect him to be here, but he's safe inside of it and is able to literally bodily shield Elton and Whimsy as the three of them pile in through the water. And all of you end up in a heap once more, as is becoming customary for Whimsy and Condry, on the grassy, beautiful shores of the reflecting pool, with blue sky overhead and real trees around and birdsong in the distance, and the reflecting pool itself dammed up partially. You can see by a great tree trunk that's been put across its source. The earth around it has been distorted and pulled up and moved and shifted. And Sarek is standing next to you, probably looking rather like Detours now, with his hands behind his back, looking pleased with himself. And not even a moment thereafter, Walters and Paranor come tumbling through as well, with all of the illusions dropping from them in the process. They dust off their large, goofy, space-looking suits, holding their blank-loaded pistols, and are, as per usual, talking to each other.
Marvelously done back there, old boy. I didn't see that branch coming in.
As they continue to chatter, however, you all feel your Enclave badges ping. as Elton, held in Whimsy's hand and Kandri's kind of like underslung crook of his arm, slowly makes a slight movement of life. Final actions, beginning with Sarek.
Excellent work, everyone. It's been quite a pleasure. I have been Sarek Surge. See you at the next one. And he taps out.
Final actions then, though I'm sure it will take a little while longer for them to catch their wits, from Kandri.
He will, now out of the power suit, look at both Walters and Paranor and take off two of the beads from his wrists.
You have earned a token of my gratitude. Wear these like badges of honor. Good job. Take care of this young man. As honorary members of the Thundercloud Monastery.
And you can see that they both kind of puff up their chest.
What an order! I say, fantastic order. Look at us go, and look at you, you fine fellow, you. Don't you worry, this young man, we shall die before any more harm befalls him. This poor fellow, he's lost an entire year and a half of his life to this beastly place.
See to it that he is compensated where capable.
Of course, I know I certainly intend on doing something, don't you, Paranor? You had best bet your britches I will do something about it. I will not let this stand.
Will Kandri ping out, or does he have any other final actions?
He's just going to turn back to the pool and lean in and go, wrong word, and then he'll ping out.
And Whimsy, final actions from you.
Whimsy actually takes a moment to cradle Elton to her, soothes him, helps him get his wits back in the world.
His eyes flicker open. He says, "Who are you?"
My name is Whimsy, and the world around you is real once more.
Whimsy is not a name of the real world.
No, I'm just a traveler, here to be helpful. These two, however, they're from your world, and they risked quite a bit to help you. You're going to have a lot to get used to. You've lost a year and a half.
How do I know I'm not still dreaming?
You'll ask yourself that for a while, but you'll be okay. You'll rally. Be kind to yourself, Elton. You'll need it. And once he's safely back on his feet, a curtsy to the gentleman, and she pings out.
They bow low, and the last thing she would see is Elton reaching out as though to see whether she were in fact real and tangible, but before he can say for sure, she vanishes. And on that note, we will end the mission.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Wow. Lots to go down with this one. First of all, the focus words. Again, I got Magic Mirror, Grove, and it seems to hate us real ones, we slickborns. Magic Mirror and Grove, I believe, are obvious. And the last one, there's, of course, the real versus fake. It's animus towards humans. Slickborn felt kind of like a human thing, I suppose.
Yep.
And also, it's difficulty with simulation. The line Detour gave me, it seems to hate us real ones, we slickborns, sounded kind of AI-ish to me. And so I wanted to give a similar feel, especially in that jealousy of reality, the trying to do it and not being able to do it, and desperately clawing and grasping at whatever it can. Again, this was a sequel mission. I ran the original on Anipod. It is fully recorded. And on that mission, they were rescuing Elton's friends who had come to try to help him, and the mission ended with them trying to poison the lake.
Right.
That is
Nice.
how that happened.
Finishing the job.
Yep. And so you guys actually got Elton out, and it would, in this case, it was purely because those 5 people come back with outlandish tales, And who better to follow up on outlandish tales than two very wealthy and eccentric outlandish fellows who actually found out how to get in. So yeah, that was the follow-up. Fun fact, the gun was Syriac's gun, because Syriac showed the reflecting pool a gun for the first time and shot. And so it was trying to figure out how this thing worked. And it was like, well, this is a powerful weapon. I am going to use it on these things. And then, of course, it just kind of defaulted back to beating you with sticks because, you know. I cannot name the number of good plays done in this mission. I'll get to it in a moment, but before I do you guys have questions for me about calls that I made or the plot of the mission?
No,
this was a bit of a
really.
mind bender, so I wanted to make sure there was like no big logical jumps.
It was trippy, but I think it all made sense in the end.
Excellent. That was the goal.
It reminded me very much of the other Mother's World in Coraline, where it's less descriptive the farther you go from her center, and that was delightful.
I've actually never seen Coraline, but it does feel like it seems like a coherent.
It's a very
world
similar thing,
yeah.
yes.
Nice, perfect. I'm glad. And you guys picked up on the clues of the world building so beautifully, right? I guess to start with Whimsy. First of all, what a fun character. Second of all, you made better use of the billowing cape than almost anyone else I have ever seen. Very good uses of that item. You quickly understood the assignment and were like, aha, mirrors and veneers, you say. I can do that. And also, of course, given that this was a world of pure magic, your fan was the strongest defensive tool that anyone had.
Losing it was like uh-oh.
One of a fun fact, by the way, one of the reasons that they did not imitate Whimsy once was because of her wizarding hat, which protects against magic.
Makes sense.
They could not draw a bead on her. And the reason that they focused more on Condry is because they thought he was the biggest threat because he made the most noise, right? Sarek quickly followed up. You may notice they started imitating Sarek when he started being scary. But they imitate threats because that's how they know to deal with it. Whimsy, beautiful plays. Picked up on the world building, slotted yourself into it is exactly correct. Condry, awesome. I wanted to make this a world that a Thunderbird would have to think to figure out how to fit himself into, and you did a great job. The thunderclaps were perfectly timed. You did a great job not overusing that tool. The storm brewing to kind of sense the weirdness of the area was great. And then at the end to facilitate a maelstrom to whip it about. There was another cool thing to that as well, which is that since you were over the reflecting pool, that actually gave you better strength of storm brewing because that was the connection to a real sky.
Sick.
So you
Awesome.
timed that perfectly. I don't know if intentionally, but perfectly. And then the out of the blue
what do you mean?
into the power suit was so freaking cool. I loved that move as well.
Thanks.
Plus, using the staff to facilitate the Maelstrom Storm Brewing by whipping it about your body, that was really, really good play as well. I love it. Really fun character. When I saw you made a will-based Thunderbird, I was like, ooh, let's give him a trippy one so that he might have to try to get in some big defiances. But you honestly didn't really need to. You did a great job keeping your head, despite the fact that they kind of targeted you, which is another reason I styled them that way, because you were the will tank of the mission. So I was like, okay, he'll be the one kind of drawing aggro and might have to use that will to get himself out of it. Great bodyguard stuff too. Like that's actually really important to do, especially Whimsy had kind of the most impact potential on the mission. But is squishy, so like protect Whimsy is a very good play.
It's a fragile, beautiful thing.
Yes, exactly.
I thought so.
Delicate flower.
And lastly, Sarek. God, that was fun. That was sick. That was not only one of the best instances of Trip's intelligence I have ever seen. That was like textbook good intelligence play. Thrusters hilarious and useful. Universal adapter perfectly timed. Gantry for scoops, hilarious and useful. Decoys, perfectly timed. And then you used every one of your abilities in like textbook perfect way. Do the thing to like force it to try to like get a glimpse of what's going on. The Behold could not have been better. Your only weakness could not have been better. Yeah, it was like literally when I imagined a Brainiac, I imagined it playing like this. So like textbook grade.
Living
clap.
up to expectations.
Hell yeah. And do you guys, now that, because I don't think any of you have seen these characters before, unless maybe Whimsy was spotted by Detour or Sarek was spotted by Rich.
I have played with Sarek Surge in another world. It was my librarian that teamed up with him that time.
Marvelous.
And yeah, Surge is a trip and I love him.
Yeah. Yeah, thoughts on each other's characters before we tap out. Rich, if you have any, then I'd obviously love to hear them, but fine if not.
Well, as I said, the notion of playing a Doctor Doom style character in anything is just fun. And Sarek Surge being so honest and just everybody up with a handshake and hi, and I love that.
Networking.
Yeah, and as for Condry, just, that kind of snarky gravitas that you brought to everything was very fun to play off of. And, and I think somewhere in her head, it's like Whimsy would not mind falling against you in another context. But we'll just see how that goes.
Yeah. The Whimsy Condry duo was actually pretty strong. Like they felt like they had great synergy.
Wandry.
What are you doing?
Yeah, Detour. I don't know if you've seen Whimsy before, but what are your thoughts on these characters?
I have not. Yeah, Whimsy, definitely classic illusionist. I feel like we haven't seen enough of that lately. So love to see it. I love the addition of circling stones. I think that's really interesting addition to an illusionist kit, and I think you could probably pull off some really fun energy works with it as well, since they're agates and you're an illusionist, so they're reflective and shiny and stuff. So looking forward to see what you pull off with that. And yeah, Condry, I really loved, you had some really great lines that you just pulled out of nowhere, which was awesome. The whole sundering line, and the way it interplayed with the Echo. I'm vaguely familiar. I was trying to remember the Echo mythology, but there's a lot of that in the Echo mythology of you'd say something that it would just repeat back, the last part or whatever that made it so much more ominous. It was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I was heavily inspired by Echo and Narcissus for the first mission, and I just decided to carry it through for this one. And lastly, Lockie, first of all, it's great to have you playing on the server. It's great to have you in another session. And now that you're playing with some other people, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these characters.
Yeah, awesome. Look, thank you so much for having me back again. That was a blast. I fell in love with this game the first time I played it and have no word of a lie been thinking about it forever. Dude. Whimsy character was just this in my mind. There's such a vivid, classic sort of wizardry sort of set. There's not 100 steps ahead of them, but always has the perfect counter move in the best possible way. The fan to me, I kid you not, I have one right here, and I was looking at it. I'm like. Just the thwip out is such a cool image in my head where you're like, oh, I stopped a bullet. Now what? That was really cool.
Grab a fan
100%
for
agree that
when he gets to higher levels. I think that can be
done. I love that. The playoff together was really fun. So thank you for raising opportunities for that to happen. I think one of my favorite moments was when the bullet was shot. The wind that was created and getting to use a bit of storm bring through there. That was really cool. Sarek, the most intimidating image in my head is literally Brainiac from the DC universe was the initial thing where you're like, no, my dome's clear. And I was like, that's really scary. But in a thank God side kind of vibe, a little bit of Ultron, but then Doctor Doom just melded into one. It is really, really fun to literally just in my head when you were standing outside the pool, pacing back and forth, being like, well, you've definitely tilted me. Your hourglass has become empty, and now you suffer the consequences. So it was really fun to watch that happen. And those sorts of plays are just really why I kind of really love this game. And getting to fall into the suit is just this really funny image at the end, being like, this is not built for my size. But emerging, coming out, and there's just as he just spills out and sort of comes back to the surface. So yeah, that was awesome. And Robbie, if I can, your echoing of the voices. I don't know if it's intentional, but you slightly pitched it down, and that freaked me out, dude,
was
in
what
like
I
the
was trying
best
to do,
possible way. I was just like, "What do you mean? What are you doing here?" Like, it was awesome. So epic. Thank you.
Sick. I'm delighted. I'm really glad you guys had seemed to have such a great time. You also puzzle mission less than 2.5 hours. Hell yeah, not common for me at least. Beautifully done, and thank you guys so much for taking the time and for all the great support you've provided Enclave here during our campaign and in other contexts besides. And with that, I say we wrap it up. So in the same order we introduced ourselves, Rich, Detour, Lockie, if you want to do a sign off, Lockie, feel free to plug your stuff again, and then we'll bring it to a close.
Yeah, no. Once again, Rich DiTullio, player of games for far too long to think about. Really enjoyed this, and as we're supposed to name these things at the end, I just like to suggest Reflections on Elton.
That is a great name. I always frickin' forget. Let's go with that.
Nice. Gonna write that in.
Yep, you can put that in your mission logs.
Good.
Thank you, Rich. I'm such a bozo.
Pleasure.
Always forget. And Detour.
Yep, I have been David Torres, also known as Detour, and if you want to get in on some of these missions, come on down.
Hell yeah. And lastly.
Hey, my name's Lockie from the Mimic's Den. If you want to follow along with what I do outside of playing TTRPGs, you can find us on Mimic's Den on all the socials. I am the DM and producer for the current actual play podcast called Luckweaver's Tavern. It's about a group of D&D characters running a tavern, basically set on the edge of the Appalachians. It's a little bit cozy, a little bit spooky, nowhere near as spooky, maybe a little bit nearly as spooky as what Robbie's created for us this evening. But if you like that idea, come have a listen. And it's been an absolute pleasure getting to be a part of the Enclave Kickstarter as well. So appreciate that.
Marvelous. And as always, my name is Robbie Howell. Thank you so much for watching, and ciao for now.